Get in there, Morocco! Get in there, Morocco! 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 Get in there, Morocco. People, I don't know where you are. You're probably watching the game, but yeah, big up. Nobody. We'll just stay here. I'll just see the third goal going in for Morocco. The third goal just went in for Morocco. The third goal has just gone in for Morocco. Congratulations to our Moroccan brothers and sisters, man. Morocco, Morocco, Morocco. Big up to Morocco. Get in there. The African team that's through to the next round, only Morocco. Flying the continent's flag. Only team is the La Maroc. Get in there. Morocco. Get in there. Listen, I just want to say, what happened at the AFCON is a family dispute. But when we're outside of the continent, that family dispute, dead. We put that to death. We put that to death, and then you shout for the family. You represent when we get out of the continent, the family is there, and you know what? We all get behind them. That's what we do. That's what we do. Come on, Morocco. Come on, Morocco. Yes. Big up to you, Carrick, man. Big up to you, bro. Congratulations to you, man. Get in there. Get in there. Morocco. Dima Morocco. Maghreb. Dima Maghreb. Get in there, people. Get in there. Let's be having you. Get in there. Mazraoui should be the starting lineup, but this Carrick fraud would favor Delort and Shaw, man. The club is F. Listen, the club is more F than you think. We're going to be talking about Laurie Whitwell coming out basically saying that Manchester United were, you won't believe this crap, Manchester United is basically, we're going to pay the 80 million plus 5 million add-ons for Fernandes. Damn. Absolutely damn. I'm so happy that they didn't. I'm so happy that they didn't. I am so happy that they didn't. I'm telling you, I'm so happy about the fact that they didn't do that. So we're going to be talking about that because that to me is crazy. And also we're going to pay homage to one of the smallest nations in the world ever, Cape Verde. This World Cup will be remembered. 2026 will be remembered for Cape Verde. It will be remembered for Cape Verde. So I've got a bit of news to share with you, people. So smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'll be showing you in a minute. Let's just let people in. Let me tweet out the show. Let people know we're here. Big up to everybody, man. Big up to everybody. Dima Maghreb. Dima Maghreb. Dima Maghreb. Big up to my people. Dima Maghreb. Big up to Morocco, man. Like I said, we put the towels down, man. It's all peace. We put the towels down, people. We put the towels down. We're getting behind. We're getting behind our Moroccan brothers and sisters, man. We'll never leave. We'll never. We have families, man. We fight. We argue because we both want to win so bad. But once we're us, it's the continent against the world, baby. You and me against the world. Just you and me against the world, baby. It's us in the continent is against the world. So, yeah. So, big up to the people. Big up to my Moroccan because the way they started the first half, people, no word of a lie, I thought Canada really pressed them hard, were not getting them out. They were getting yellow cards right, left, and center. It was a very frustrating first half. But as Canada tired because they can't keep up that press for that long, as they tired, then boom, the technicians come into play. The technicians come into play. And Diaz came into play. You know, the captain, Hakimi, came into play. And Onana just scores goals, bro. He's one of these people. He's one of these people. He just scores goals. So people, talk to me and talk to me nice. Idiots don't go for Fernandez now. It's about what they do next. They go for big tag Scott Chouameni, or will they go cheap Standerberg and Shea Charles? Yo, Shea Charles, if I'm not mistaken, Shea Charles is linked. I'm having my dinner, people. I'm having my dinner because I need to eat before it's 8:30. Isn't Shea Charles going to somebody else? I saw him being linked with another Premier League club. Champions League qualification game in a couple of days. We don't have to qualify. No, we don't have to play qualification. You mean, yeah, the season starting soon, you mean, yeah. There are quality players out there. United Nations needs to be brave. Andre Santos, Baleba works. Yeah, some people are putting it in that sense, but I want to big up to my brother, man, Tariq. He's a big Liverpool fan, but he's got love, man. He's got love. He's one of my people. I appreciate him for the big super chat. Yes, people. So we got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about today. Because Manchester United were going to pay some big ass money. They were going to pay big ass money. They were going to pay big ass money. Obviously, we missed out on Mateus Fernandez, and I'm like, thank God for that. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He is not worth 85 million by any... And I'm actually glad that the Donkeys didn't pay that, and I'm glad that he's gone to Spurs. I wish the kid all the best, but he only been playing that position, deep lying midfield player, for a certain time. He's only been playing there for a certain time. He's only been playing there for a certain time. And I don't want Phoenix in the matchup. Forget about him as well. Absolutely on the ball, offers nothing. Ayub Bayadi is too young. Sanderberg is an interesting. I take him as a squad player. I would take him as a squad player, but I think Scott is there to be deals to be done. I don't think Manchester United are going to sign Chouameni. I'll be shocked if you do that. If we do that, I'll be shocked. But I want to hit you with what Laurie Whitwell said, people. And this to me is scary. Scary FC. All right, we're gonna be discussing it. Basically, we're gonna be discussing it. We're gonna be looking at and thinking, is this part of PR or did this really happen? So let me just give you this. This came out a couple of hours ago. This came out this afternoon around 3 o'clock, right? 3 o'clock this afternoon it came out. And I want to share it with you. And I want to see what's being said. So big up to the people. And let me just show you what he's saying. This is what Laurie Whitwell said. And you know, this is the brief from the club, innit? So this is what he said. Him and free to read by Mark Crishley. Right? So we can go on to the article in a minute. Manchester United were prepared to go to 80 million plus 5 million for Mateus Fernandez with some expectation he would join. But Tottenham's guarantee fee and wages swung the talks. Significant signing to miss out on. Man UFC onto other targets, right? We can go to the article. We can go to the article and actually have a look at this. Yeah, big on Matt Critchley. Reject me. Zios. Bastards. Few players suffer back-to-back top flight relegations, only become one of the Premier League's most expensive signings. Yeah, that's how much Tottenham Hotspur, and particularly the head coach, Roberto De Serbi, appreciate, who was twice outstanding among his teammates, despite first Southampton, then West Ham struggle to survive. Okay. Let's get to what Manchester United. They were far from the admirers on our significant coup won the race against Manchester United, who push hard to add the 21-year-old to their midfield rebuild, but will not be prepared to meet West Ham's valuation. As the Premier League season draws close, West Ham's top flight status appeared to increasingly prestigious. Yeah. Let's get me to where Manchester United are. Paris Saint-Germain, okay, yeah, they had some interest in it. Manchester United evaluated Fernandes to their top priority midfield targets towards the end of the season, once it became clear that Nottingham Forest demands for first choice Elliot Anderson would be too steep and his likely destination would be Man City. In early June, the Old Trafford leadership were reluctant to meet West Ham's demands, but serious competition from London made their hopes of reaching compromise more challenging. Tottenham's interest in Fernandes dated back in the days in Sporting Lisbon with a youth setup. Fernandes scored against Spurs in the UEFA Youth League fixture 2024 before making his second senior appearance of his career at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, a second half substitute 1-1 draw in the Champions League the following month. At Manchester United Director of Football, Jason Wilcox, and Director of Football Negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, led the talks. In additional support on the player side came from their club captain, Bruno. Bruno Fernandes helped with an attempt to persuade the 21-year-old to Old Trafford should be the next destination. When asked who his biggest idol is, Matheus Fernandes named Manchester United captain on an Instagram post. Spurs published on Thursday. Despite that connection, Tottenham became increasingly confident. And a De Zerbi factor, obviously. De Zerbi came. But Manchester United, there is a surprise to Tottenham's newly found ability to spend and compete the highest end of the market. Lewis family, the North London club's majority owners, injected 100 million to provide fresh working capital last month, following previous 100 injection last October. As talks entered the final stages, United were prepared to match West Ham's 85 million demand through so-called add-ons. With exception, United would close the deal this week, but ultimately were unwilling to pay the asking price as the fixed fee. So at the end of the day, that's where we're at, people. That is where we're at. Big up to my brother Adewale. Adewale comes back and that's where we're at, people. That is where we're at. But I'm glad I didn't pay for him, seriously. Solly crashing out, United not serious club. I'm glad Spurs saved us from ourselves. If Ineos actually succeed, it's because we missed out on all their first choices. Braithwaite, Dalat, Mateus. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, I'll hold my hands up. I like Dalat, you know. I think he's a sick player. But obviously, Chelsea is a mad club. But I understand what you're saying. From what I watch Ipswich, Dalat playing week in, week out, looked like he can be a handful in the Premier League. At Chelsea, he was a bit bad player because they bought Pedro. So he never truly showed it. And he was coming on in games, and I don't think he played 4 or 5 games in a row. Of course, there's no notifications. Of course, there's not going to be any notification, man. We're shadow banned. People, that's why we need to get 100 likes ASAP. So, guys, I'm going to do the poll. So let me know what you think. So I'm going to do this poll. Big up to Adewale for the super chat. Big up, my king. I'm going to do the poll, so please get involved. Is this PR or were Manchester United super close to paying 80 million for Matheus Fernandes, who's only played that position, deep lining midfield player, for 7 months? That's the question we got to ask. That's the question we got to ask. Big up man like Jarvis. This is the question we've got to ask. This is the question we've got to ask, people. This is the question. Were Man UFC willing to pay 80 million plus 5 plus 5 or is it just PR? Well, Man United are willing to pay 80 mil plus 5 for Fernandez. Or is it actually, you know what? Actually, I need to phrase this question well. Do you believe in, do you believe in the tweet? Do you believe the well tweet? Is it PR? PR? Save face? And say the player went for money? Or were they willing to pay? People, get involved. Were you willing to believe the Laurie Whitwell tweet? People, smash the likes. Smash the likes. I'm just getting it out now so that people. Yes, people, please smash the likes on the video as well. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Smash the likes, people. Smash the likes. Smash the likes and sub. Get voting in the poll, people. Because we want to know. Let's get to 100 likes ASAP. Is it? I don't think Boadi's ready. I really think Boadi's ready, man. I genuinely don't think Boadi's ready. And look at what Lila's saying. Lila basically saying, we 10 more likes, people. Let's get to 100 quickly, ASAP. Quicker we get to 100, the better. Big up to King Sol. Yeah, I do believe that. I want to know what you guys think. Genuinely, I really want to know what you guys think. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking? That's what I want to know, genuinely. I want to know what you guys are thinking. That's what I want to know. By the way, big up the Irish, man. Like we said here, T-shirt is there, man. You're now entering free Derry. Blah! Big up the people at Derry, mate. Is this PR? That's what I want to know from you guys. Is this PR? Is it PR to save face? Is that what it is? But let's go, people. Let's go. Let's smash the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Looking at the tweet, man, I think, I personally think, I'll go back to Adewale's tweet. So Adewale's super chat. Let me go back to this here. Adewale just saying here. So big up to Rashid, man. Listen, Dima Maghreb. Solid crashing out. United's not serious club. I'm glad Spurs saved us from ourselves. If Ineos actually succeeded, it's because we missed out on their first choices. Braithwaite, oh my God, that's the biggest waste. Yeah, Braithwaite was really bad. Braithwaite was really bad. Delap and Matthias. Yeah. So yeah. It is what it is. I honestly don't believe anything in regards to United. Yes, Kadeem, big up to you, bro. Hopefully, inshallah, I'll see you next season at Old Trafford, but big up to you. He needs another year or two in the league. We would have wasted the potential, yeah. And that's the other big thing. We can't develop. We can't develop players, man. That's what I'm saying to you. Oh my goodness me. Thank God it didn't happen. Thank God it didn't happen, man. Monitoring FC, admiring FC, keen on FC, tracking. That's a new one. Tracking FC, assessing FC, holding talks FC, Glazers and Ineos FC out. Yo, big up the infamous. That's one of the best ones I've seen, man. Big up to you, bro. Big up the infamous. Sangara will be, let's get him 45 mil. I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they do. But he also needs development. Yeah, listen, if you can't go, you need to let me know if you can't go sometimes, yeah? If you can't go, face value, bro. I'll give it to you, face value. So let me know if you can't go. The games that you can't go, I know you're a hard-working fella. So, yeah, man, we're happy out here, Mohammed. Big up Morocco. School second half, mate. It was the game of 2 halves, mate. They got bopped. They got absolutely bopped. I'm so happy my African team is through to the last 16, if I'm not mistaken. They are through. Let's not forget, they wanted Longstaff. Oh, my God. Nora, still believe in Mason Mount? Do you still? No, I do not believe in Mason Mount. My belief in Mason Mount died a long time ago. I never wanted him in the first place. Big up Morocco, possession, technique, resistance, counter-attacking. Carrick better be taking notes and model United based on Moroccan's play. Yo, big up Plank. Big up Plank always for the super chats, man. Big up to you. We need Traps Killers to answer for the transfer claims of his ownership. Well, in this article here, look, if owners want to put money in, my friends, owners can put money in. Let's just go to this article. Let me share this article with you guys here. Look here. It says here that Tottenham Hotspur, the owners, the Lewis family, started pumping hundreds of millions into the football club. So if he wanted to, he could as well. He could put money into Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? So look what he says here. Look what discipline. This is the word. This is the bullshit they come out with. This is what they come out with. Discipline has been watchword during Manchester United dealings in the early weeks of this summer market. As chief executive, Potato Barada. And by the way, people who are saying, you know what? Why are you calling him bolder when you're bold? Because I'm beautifully bold, baby. I'm beautifully bold, baby. He's got a potato head. I don't have a potato head. Potato Barada, mate. Potato Barada. So he says here, outline, end of the season interview on United's Character podcast. Bullshit. It's very important, he said here. It's very important that you don't let the market or the agent dictate what we should be doing, he said. Now, I agree. We shouldn't be getting bullied by agents. We should not be getting bullied by agents. But don't give me any of that BS, because what the brother was just saying, let me just find it where it says about the Lewis family. Here we go. It says here, look, listen to this. At Manchester United, there is a surprise. Tottenham's newly found ability to spend and compete at the highest end of the market. The Lewis family, the North London club's majority owners, injected 100 million to provide fresh working capital last month, following a previous 100 million injection last October. So, for the person that was talking to me before, they can. If they want to, they can. The Glazers can. If they want to. If Jim the Rat wanted to, he can put the money in there. But they don't want to do that. Gaslight FC, Disappointment FC, Unambitious FC, Cheap FC, Limited FC, Excuses FC, Track FC. There you go. Big up. Get your in, man. Get the new one is Track. Remember, Intermediaries FC. That was my favorite. Intermediaries. Yeah, big up Khalid. You need to message me on Insta with the answer, bro. The days that you can't go, you need to let me know. I found this channel now after the Morocco game from Kenya. Yo, big up, man. Big up. You're welcome, bro. Come. Come, man. Come. Morocco. Baby Morocco. Baby Morocco. Listen, people, let's get 200 likes ASAP. We're live and we're saying, thank God, Manchester United didn't spend 80 million on Mateus. So that would have meant, basically, that Mateus Fernandes is the Casemiro replacement. Could you imagine the amount of pressure that would have been on that kid's shoulders? Could you imagine the amount of pressure would have been on that kid's shoulders? Now, that kid could go and be amazing. That kid could be amazing, yeah? It could be amazing season. It could be Real Madrid within a year. And I think that's what his agent thinks. That's what his agent thinks. So, at the end of the day, for me, that he's not here because we can't develop him. And the pressure, could you imagine the pressure that would have been on him? Could you imagine the level of pressure that would have been on that kid? Discipline, I know. Discipline. Listen, my bold is beautiful, baby. I'm bold and beautiful. I ain't got no potato head. What are we doing here, people? People are trying to have me on, man. I'm bold and beautiful, baby. Morocco might play France if they win tonight. Yeah, they won. They won already. Yeah, if France win tonight. Yeah. That'll be a good game, man. That'll be a good game. It won't be easy game for France, I'll tell you that. Morocco love being the underdogs. Yes, Nora, the Argentinian fans, racismo. They were Argentinian women being racist to I show speak. Yo, that's what we expect from them. I can't say it's all Argentinians to be one, because let's not generalize. But Argentina has a lot of racist people in it. A majority of the people in that country, from what the world has seen, don't really see that they have a problem with racism. Smash the likes and subscribe. Do you know the reason why they don't have Afro? I mean, there are small pockets of communities that are Afro-Argentinians. By the way, Argentina was also built up by free labor of slaves. But guess what they did to them? Anytime they had a war with any of their neighboring countries, especially what I read about Colombia, they had a war with Colombia. And they sent all the Afro-Argentinians to the front line. And what they did was a policy to basically make it as white as possible, to make it as European as possible. So they can go and suck their mums, man. The forefathers of Argentina, they can go and suck their people, man. I don't give a F. Those racist, demonic, fascist enslavers can go and suck on one, innit? It's simple. Nora, you could have sealed the deal earlier at 70 or walked away. Yeah, 100%. Big up Morocco in the chat. If you're from Morocco, yeah, big up to all the people who are from Morocco. Love, man. Listen, that's the only African team flying a flag, man. I'm getting behind them no matter what. No matter what, we're getting behind them. Ineos glazes out 100%, man. People, let's get to 100 likes ASAP. Big up clubs, identify tigers, get linked, sign them. United get linked, drag it on for months, and then walk away. Bro, Spurs managed to do 2 deals like that. Spurs, look how the Spurs signed. Cersei from Bournemouth on a free. They've signed the centre-back from Brighton, Van Heck. They worked on that deal. They worked on Mateus Fernandes deal. They worked on the Tonali deal. What are we doing here? They're doing it. We need midfielders. They will say we have signed Fernandes. That's the midfield. Thank God we didn't sign him. Yeah. Yeah, man. F the races. Let me just check out the poll. Let me check on the poll. Let me check on the poll. Let me check on the poll. I think 89% of you are saying you don't believe this crap. That they're there just to... 90% of you don't believe it. You don't believe it, to be fair. Fair enough. You don't believe it. You don't believe the BS coming from this football club. Spurs. Fernandes, 175 a week. So nearly 200. Yeah, nearly 200 grand a week wages, yeah? If Champions League. Rising to 200, yeah, even the Champions League. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you, bro. Defensively, we're not all that. We are not all that. Defensively, we're not all that either. I do think we need a left back. I do think we need a centre back. I really believe those things. I will not stop talking about it. Big up to Jarvis, by the way. If you're around, you're free. Jump on, Jarvis. If not, no problem. But yeah. Let me just see actually if Luwani's about. Let me send this to Luwani. Let me send this to Luwani, man. Man like Luwani. So I like to hear from Luwani, man. Man like Luwani. Man like Luwani. Man like Luwani. Ben will be out with his missus, hopefully having a good time somewhere in Belfast. You know what I mean? Ben will be having a good time. Ooh, big up. We got exclusive from big up to the chief editor, United Real Therapy. I'm going to be looking at this now. And Jason Wilcox, man. Jason Wilcox. Oh, he sent me the same thing that I read. Big up to, you know what? He's on top of everything, isn't he? Man like Khalees Ramadan Lassie, man. He's on top of everything. But let me just send this to Luwani. Man like Luwani. Man like Luwani. Man like Luwani. Let me see if I can catch in, Let me see if I can catch. If I can catch, what's his name? It's well, Sean. We've not had Sean. Sean, jump on, man. Jump on. Live now. Jump on, man. Saturday night. Saturday night. Big up to Trebs. Big up to Trebs. But yeah, people. Let's be having you. Smash the likes. Subscribe to the channel. I think it would have been scary times, man, if we would have signed that kid, the amount of pressure that kid would have been on. Because he practically would have been Manchester United top midfield signing of the summer. And I think that could have been really, really bad. That could have been bad. Yo, Nura, would you get Richards, USA player who plays for Crystal Palace? Yeah, I like Richards. I'm not going to lie to you. I like him. I think he's solid. He's solid. I like him more than I like the Lacroix. I like him more than I like Lacroix. I think, yeah. Yeah, man, big up people. Please, people, as you're coming in, smash the likes on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let me just get this out here. We've got all other news today. All other Manchester United news, people. All other Manchester United news. All other Manchester United news. We're going to be talking about all of the Manchester United news, people. All other Manchester United news. The only thing that what we're saying about is a deal for Brazilian Addison from Atlanta. So that's the only deal that's completed. I wanted to talk about the Somerville. Other names, Rivial, Leao. Listen, I don't want to sign Leao. Leao stunk the place out at Milan this season. He stunk the place out, man. He might be doing all right for Portugal, but he stunk the place out. So I don't want to be getting him. I don't want Leao. But Somerville, I don't think that's going to move anywhere until we sort the Rashford situation out. And Rashford has basically said he's not doing anything. He's completely focused on Manchester United. He's focused on England, and everything will be sorted in the summer. I agree with him. We have so much money for relatively unproven play. Yeah, that's the point, bro. People are not getting. People just want a new toy. That kid would have been on extreme pressure. He's only been playing that role for 7 months. And people think he can 85 million. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, we're going to be talking about that in a minute. We're going to be talking about it in a minute as well. Because I'm going to save this, Cape Verde. But people, where we are on the likes, Mugs, get on it. Get on it, Mugs. We're not even anywhere near 100 likes, man. Big up Irish. We're here, people. We're here. You're now entering Free Derry. You're now entering Free Derry. If you know, you know. So yeah, I'm big up to the Egyptian coach as well, using his voice for the people of Palestine. Using his voice for the people of Palestine. Big up to my guy. Big up to my guy. We salute my guy. Big up everybody. Big up to the Bosnian fans. Big up everybody in the world who's got kind heart, who's at that World Cup with a Palestinian flag. Big up. Somerville was horrible at West Ham. He had 3 good months, and that's the injury record isn't great either. Well, I don't want him anywhere near me then. I don't want him anywhere near Manchester United if he's injury prone. If he's injury prone, keep all injury prone players away from Manchester United. I've already got Luke Shaw. I've already got 3 centre-backs that are like that. I've already got Mason Mount. I've already got 5 in the squad who are injury prone. Donkeys. The last thing I need is another injury prone guy to be signed. Oh, Paris Saint-Germain saying he's not going anywhere, man. No, I don't want him dying, man. I don't want anybody holding walls on that. No holding walls, man. Ndiaye is the only left winger we should be going for. Nah, I don't rate him, bro. I don't rate him. Barcola, you know what? He loves him. Barcola could be interesting. He's speedy Gonzalez. But I prefer a dribbler. I want somebody who can dribble fast. Somerville is under consideration at Manchester United, but negotiating club to club with the players injured. I'm not started. United focus on midfielders. Yeah, my guy holds walls, baller, man. You know that. My guy's basically holding walls like this. You know, if you know, you know his training videos, man, when he's holding the walls. If you know, you know. Somerville is all PR spin anyway. Yeah. Listen, people, let's get to 100 likes ASAP. Let's get to 100 likes ASAP. Big up yourselves, people. It was like quickly, I saw that and I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a stream quickly. And big up to the brother who makes the thumbnails because he can churn them out like that. Anytime I ask, I just want to big up Mo Nouri, man. Mo Nouri, legend. Legend. If you know, you know. Somerville is not better than Rashford, granted. Nouri, don't agree with you on Fernandes. Okay, Luan, make your case. Ask yourself, how long has Matheus Fernandes played in a more deeper line in midfield? And then when you answer that question, then ask yourself, is he then worth 85 million? Nuruddin Ineos smartly dragging out a transfer. The frauds are not going to sign him more than 2 players. Well, we talked about it the other night with Jarvis. Actually, that's going to be my That's going to be the next. Actually, let's do that on that poll. Because we all the fan base have agreed Manchester United needed to sign 6 to 7 players, 5 of them at least in the starting lineup. So we will bench the people who already started the games last season. So that is what we decided and what we said, people. But, by the way, do you believe in Laurie Whittle tweet? 91% of you have said, nah, it is PR to save face. So we said this. We all agreed. Saeed, me, majority of the man, then we said, and majority of United fans have said we need at least 6 to 7 players, 5 of them in the starting lineup. Because no point buying players who are going to be on the bench. No point. No point at all. You don't buy bench players. You buy starting players. And then what happens in your starting lineup then is the quality that's helping you to come off the bench. So here is the question now, especially here. Especially the question that somebody else asked a minute ago. Somebody said, Nuruddin, here we go. Big up to Sting. Yeah, Sting says here, Nuruddin, Ineos are smartly dragging out a transfer. The frauds are not going to sign more than 2 players. So let's put it to the test. Get in the poll and let me know your views. How many players will Ineos/Glazer sign this summer, this window? I'm going to give you 4 different options. Smash the likes, people. Let's get to 100 likes ASAP. Right. I'll go for 3, 4, 5, or 6. Get voting, people. It's going to be 3, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 5 or 6. Get voting. How many players will Ineos and Glazers sign this window? Smash the likes. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're going to be talking about it, people. So please smash the likes. Welcome to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, people, if you're new around here, the least you could do is subscribe to the channel. We're shadow banned because we always, for the liberation of the people, man, globally. When you say free Palestine, you're talking about yourself as well. Free you. That's what you're talking about. Free who you are. Because trust me, what they're doing to the Palestinians can be done to any of us. Big up, some of you might have a relegation clause, 40 million. The only problem is that is fully paid up front, no installments. Well, yeah, you could say that. Big up the man like Tactical Devils. They'll be live tomorrow. Come on, people. Let's get to 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. It costs you absolutely nothing. Let's get to 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes, people. Somerville is more consistent than Rashford. Therefore, he's better. Okay, you could say that. Stretford elite. Rashford's had a better season at Barcelona than Somerville has had at West Ham. That's just me being honest. Rashford has had 13 goals and 13 assists. That's unbelievable. Nura, are you worried about the lack of signings we have made? Listen, I'm not shocked or surprised by this football club. You know these vultures. You know these vultures don't care about this football club. They don't care about the football club, bro. They don't. I'm never struck by these people. Nura, ask yourself, who else is possible than Fernandez? I think Alex Scott can be done, but I've still got the question marks over Alex Scott as well. I've got question marks, man. I like Sangara. That's who I personally like. The French league is the closest thing in terms of physicality to the Premier League. And that kid dominated that league. Last season, he dominated that league. I don't see the end of the signing players for the sake of it. No top consistent left winger out there. Just go for Cunha and Dogu, then sign a left back like Truffert or Robinson. I prefer Truffert than I prefer Robinson. Okay, do you want me to specify? So a starting lineup, to me, I want to play 3 in midfield. So I want 3 new midfielders. 2 of them has to be 100% starting lineup because I want to play 3 in midfield. A left back, that's a starting lineup, and a centre half, that's a starting lineup. And that's what I would have. So 3 midfielders who can possibly be starting lineup, right? And a left back and a centre back. That's who I want. So let me just have a quick look at this poll. As he stands right now, wow. Wow. Do you only think United are signing Raz? You only think 48% of you by an absolute have said 3. 30% of you have said 4. 5% of you said 11. 11% of you have said 6. So 3% of you have said, sorry, 3. We'll sign 3 players, is at 50%. We'll sign 4 players, is at 29%. We sign 5 players, is at 11%. And we sign 6 players, is at 10%. Boy, oh boy. Fan base not happy. And that's why all these tweets are flying about. Basically, in that article what I was looking up, what they're basically saying is that Fernandes went for the money. That is greedy. So they try to disparage the kid. They're not saying, in the article, Manchester United are spinning it, that the kid is greedy. That's why he went there. That's what they're saying. Really, what's the point of signing mid players? They're having no need to replace them every summer transfer window. Yeah, I'm not asking to sign mid players. What in your head, what sounds as a mid player? I don't think Sangare is a mid player. Yeah, well, Arsenal, he's linked more with Arsenal, bro. He's linked a threat for the league. He's linked more with Arsenal. He's linked more with Arsenal. That's who he's linked with. That's who he's linked with. He's linked more with Arsenal than Man City. But City can do a mad one. City are doing a get bam. Yeah. Yeah, we get him. Irish, was it you who's telling me about Mazamba, the kid who plays for Switzerland? He's having a hell of a tournament, but I would love to have seen him, what he was like in the league. Mateus' transfer is reported to be 135k. 220 if they make it to the Champions League. Get Baleba. Well, Baleba money's gone up. That's the problem. The Baleba money's gone up because they've seen a guy who's played in midfield for 7 months, basically, get bought for 85 million. What do you think Brighton are going to say? What do you think Brighton are going to say? What do you think Brighton are going to say? What do you think Brighton are going to say? Somebody else is linked to him. I think Fulham, if I'm not mistaken, Tactical Devils. Big up Jarvis. Fulham are linked to him. So Fulham are looking at him. So if Fulham are looking at him, then it must be true that he's got a relegation clause. 4-4-2 is garbage. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to play. I don't want to play 4-4-2, man. 4-3-3. Alex Stott is staying at Bournemouth. Can't see it happening. Then it's Sanderberg, and he loves Sanderberg, man. Big up. Some of the fan base are not happy about Sanderberg, but it's Sanderberg, and I would take Sangare, man, and I would take Sanderberg. I would take Sadiki. I do like Sadiki. I would take him as well. In terms of the wingers, I would take that Mateus, that Fernandes kid who plays for Lille as well. I would take him. I would take him. In Liga, he played really well last night. Tanaka, you would take Tanaka, okay. You would take Tanaka. Tanaka at Leeds. The Leeds gonna sell him. He's worth 10 million. That's what they're saying transfer value. But he spent a lot of time on the bench this season, to be fair. Spent a long time on the bench this season. But I do like him. I thought he was amazing. He's a sick ball carrier. His tools are quite good as well. 76, 86 percentile. He's hardly ever gets dispossessed. Tackles are 86%. But he's hardly played, though. I do like him. Premier League, man. In the World Cup, he was brilliant for Japan. It must be said he was brilliant for Japan. But yeah, coming on to the World Cup, people. Can we just give a shout out to Cape Verde? Can our hearts and minds go to Cape Verde? Can we shout out Cape Verde? So Masraoui is performing amazing he's getting a lot of plaudits, Masraoui. Big up to him, like I said, sending so much love to Morocco. Big up to Morocco, man. Carlos Ancelotti ahead of Brazil's massive World Cup knockout against against Norway. He said, I prepared for over 1,400 matches. That might not be enough to understand football, but it's certainly a good amount of experience. So he was asked in a press conference. That's interesting. The only person that has prepared for more matches than me is Alex Ferguson, who's prepared for over 2,000 matches. I take advice from everyone, but the only one who could really be the right person to give me advice is Alex Ferguson. Yo, Fergie, people taking big up as the Dean, Unahi, big up man of the match for Morocco, man. Big up, but can we talk about Cape Verde? Can we talk about Cape Verde? Cape Verde. Can we talk about Cape Verde? Can we talk about Cape Verde? Can we talk about Cape Verde, people? Because they might have lost the match. Listen, I was so tired when it was 1-0 to Argentina last night. I was really, really tired. Really, really tired. And I couldn't even keep my eyes open, man. This Ramadan World Cup, man, we're calling it the Ramadan World Cup because it's Ramadan times, man. Being awake at late. The only month that I'm really awake a late time, is Ramadan. Yo, mods, have we got 200 likes yet? Where are we? Have we got 200 likes yet? And as I check on the poll, have we got 200 likes yet? Boy, oh boy, we're 11 likes away from 100 likes. So let me story time, mate, with Uncle Structure. So people, tune in, come closer, put everything down. So I'm sat here, and I've had a bit of a busy day. I'm sat there, and I am like that. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, this is close to half time. And then I'm like, oh God. Then obviously it became the break, and then the second half they came out. I was like, yo, I need to take, when your body is just so tired. I was like, your body and mind, and I'm like, take my ass to bed. So I went to bed. I slept really well. So yeah, I couldn't watch it. I wake up to all the messages that I'm getting, all the groups popping off, everybody telling me about Cape Verde. Boy, oh boy, did they represent. Big up the Cape Verde. Their fans have been unbelievable. Cape Verde fans have been unbelievable. Cape Verde have made this World Cup. I'm sorry. Cape Verde have made this World Cup. Years to come, they're going to be talking about Cape Verde. They're going to be talking about Cape Verde. They're going to be talking about Cape Verde. Cape Verde, that's who they're going to be talking about. That's what we're doing, people. Cape Verde. I want to go to the Cape Verde, man. I want to go to Cape Verde. I want to go to Cape Verde. Big up to the Cape Verde. Big up to those brothers. I'm telling you, Cape Verde have won the world's billions of people around the world. They won their hearts. They lost the game. You can lose football games. There's only 3 results in a football game. You win, you lose, you draw. When Cape Verde qualify for the World Cup, everybody's like, yo, it's going to be cricket score. Curacao, Cape Verde, Haiti were going to get cricket scores. That's what everybody thought. Everybody said Haiti, Cape Verde, Curacao are getting cricket score. I'm telling you, these are group chat. These are big men saying this. These are adults coming out with it. It's not children saying, yo, it's mad how they qualified. They're going to get cricket scores. Now, the only team that got a cricket score in their first game or second game was Curacao. And only in one game. Only in one game. So every one of these footballing nations who have gone to the World Cup to showcase that they can actually play football. It's unbelievable. The storylines coming out of the Cape Verde, they've won the people's. They are the world people's champions. They are. They might not get the trophy, but they will be remembered as being the team from West African island that is what? 500,000? 500,000. 500,000. I repeat again, 500,000. That's like 3 neighborhoods in Manchester. In Greater Manchester, 4 million. Cape Verde, an island of 500,000 people, gone out there to the World Cup, qualified to the second and the group stages, played last night against the world champions and one of the favorites to win the competition. And nobody gave them a chance. Nobody gave them a chance to get out of the group. Everybody thought they were going to hold cricket score, cricket goals. They were going to get hammered 5, 10, 7, 9, whatever they were going to get. And it's remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So they have won the people's side. What he's done now? You know me, I love music. I love all music from all over the world, but specifically African music. I've just been, since today, I've been bam, bam, bam on my phone, headphones on, and I've been listening to Cape Verde music. Yo, they got tunes, they got bop. Their music bops, man. Of course, like all African music bops. But their music, their beats, bops, man. Bops. Absolute bops. Big up Luwani. Luwani, talk to me, bro.
Big up.
You watched that game last night.
Big up, guys.
Cape Verde put in a respectably. Bigger African nation didn't even qualify for the World Cup. Cape Verde flying the flag last night. Won the hearts and minds of billions of fans around the world. Talk to me.
Hey, big up, guys. Good evening, Therapy Army. Yes, I begin. I think we did a couple of streams when the World Cup started, and I said when you come to this World Cup, you're representing your nation. It's not going to be about tactic. It's going to be more about heart and how people remember you, and that's what Cape Verde did yesterday. Yesterday, because this whole thing about tactics, we sit back and then we try to playing out the back and all that all those other African teams are doing. It doesn't bode well because it's all about emotion, it's all about intensity. And Cape Verde yesterday, they as soon as they were granted the fact that they were sitting back, paying respect to Argentina, rightfully so. But as soon as they considered that goal, they went forward. They went forward. They played to win the game, and that's the performance that we're going to remember. Those are things that a lot of people will remember. That's the kind of thing that puts your country on the map, and they flew the continent flag high yesterday. Because compared to the other African team, I would say Ghana or Ivory Coast, which I would argue um, pack a bit more punch in terms of talent. But you notice that when those teams like Ghana, Ivory Coast, they bring in those coaches that kind of restrict uh, try to make a national team football, a club level football, is not always a good thing because you have very little time to prepare, and if eventually, yes, it's good to be disciplined, but you have to let these guys express themselves. But thank you, Carlos Queiroz. You did what you have to do with the short time they give you with Ghana, but look at what happened yesterday. Like none of Ghana, Ivory Coast, you could say put together a performance that we can remember. Even Senegal, to a certain extent, we will not remember those performances. But Cape Verde, we will remember. We will talk for it for a long time, and that's what it's about. Every other country that come from the continent that represent the continent have to take note. This is how, this is the team of dream. This is why we watch the World Cup, because this is why we love football. In fact, so salute to Cape Verde. But if you've been watching the African Cup of Nations and the qualifier for the African Cup of Nations for the past 10 years, the fact that Cape Verde qualified for the World Cup is not a surprise. They have been on the ascendance for the past 10 years. They've been doing well. They've been giving a lot of team that we will consider giants on the continent a serious game. So I knew how good they were, but I just didn't know that they will play to such intensity and they will represent the continent very well. Bravo to them.
I didn't watch the Colombia game. Well, Ghana toothless last night. I saw the
Oh my
highlights.
God.
Talk to me.
No, I'm telling you, my biggest disappointment: Ghana, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. Biggest is because I see the Colombians are good footballers, and essentially what Ghana did is Ghana sat back. Ghana sat back against the Colombian. You always have to go 50-50, especially against people who are good on the ball. So Ghana sat back, let them have the ball, and essentially when Colombia score, even when Colombia score, you will think that Ghana was the one that was leading because they were still retracting all the way till almost the end of the game. Ghana was still sitting back while they were 1-0 down, and those are it's nonsense because I get it. Carlos Queiroz seemed like a pragmatic
Coach,
a pragmatic coach. But when you have people like Semenyo, you have like the Ghanaian left back, they're fantastic. You could tell they have individual players. They have the athleticism,
talent.
they have talent, and they have the fundamental proper. But the issue is that I think Carlos Queiroz was definitely too pragmatic, and there's also the fact that I think that the Ghanaian, we African team, we have to do a better job trying to get rid of our veterans quicker, because you have somebody like Ayu who was not even, I won't say he's not Premier League worthy, but he can keep up. He lost his post at Crystal Palace, and he's now essentially a journeyman. He's wearing the armband, and he's over there on the pitch for almost 90 minutes of football. And Semenyo is essentially left to fend on his own, trying to play in the 10, carry the ball past 1, 2, 3 players. Semenyo was the only person trying to do anything. Ayu was playing as a striker, and we back into a defender. They barely touch him. He's on the floor, and there was no threat from Ghana. And I don't understand, because if you have somebody like Suleimane, the Southampton guy, we see all what he did to Lenny Yoro. You have somebody like Suleimane on the bench, and you cannot bring him in, and so at least you 1-0 down. Bring him in so you could at least be a little more threatening at the front. But you know what? I hope they just let the veterans go. This is also valid for Senegal. It's time to let the veteran go and start bringing in the young ones. They all the best African team is the only team. I guess one of the only team left right now is Morocco. We all have to hang our hats on because they play fantastic football. And I watched. You watched the game against Canada. It's funny because Canada have the perfect formula. You remember when I watched the game France Senegal and I said that Senegal gives France too much respect. I don't think France has a midfield. And what I saw today is what I think was the right formula if you want to play a team that is superior to you, right? Jesse March, the Canadian manager, have the perfect plan. You low block. If you're playing a team that's technically superior, that have better quality than you just low block them, and you mid block them, and you press the heck out of them. And they did that very well in the first half against Morocco. But it was always when you make the game that way, you make them that uncomfortable. You have to capitalize. They have the opportunity in the first half, that almost 1v1 situation. The Moroccan keeper made a great stop, and you could tell that was their chance, and they missed it, and that was it. Now it's just a matter of when you play in a game like that, and you see the goal that Canada conceded too, you cannot lose concentration. You get how do you concede a goal on a dead ball cutback? That is, once that goal went in, is over. The rest is you're gonna have to come out. You leave more space, and the team, the quality of Morocco, will punish you on the transition. But that is the blueprint. If you're trying to play a team, if Paraguay is watching, right, and you look at that French team, they only have two midfield. They only play in the two with Chouameni and Rabiot, or a combination of Kone, Rabiot, any of that combination. Playing in two, they don't have I don't think they can build up from the midfield. They should try to remedy to that by dropping that kid into the 10, Olise into the 10. But I still think that French team can be got at. If you mid block them and you press them, that's the right formula. You're gonna have to take your chance with the spacing behind with Mbappe. But I believe on that French team, probably him and Bakola are the only people that have pace. I don't think Olise is that fast. I don't think Due or Dembele is that fast. So if I was Paraguay, I would take my chances, mid block, don't give France the time on the ball to pick you apart. But again, on the pitch is a different story.
Big up, people. Yo, this is heartbreaking. Ghana have been disappointing. Senegal had issues with their federation. What am I hearing? That they had problems with their federation. So me, Senegal were the most disappointed, and Ivory Coast were the two. They let the side down because they're the two best teams. They're the two with Morocco. They're the three best teams from Africa. And Ivory Coast lose concentration, 86 minutes. Senegal exactly the same, 10 minutes to go and they lose. But let's go back to Manchester United and we'll come back to the World Cup roundup. Big up, Sean. Sean, how you doing?
Big up, Sean.
Big up, guys. How you guys doing?
How you doing, Sean? Talk to me, man.
I'm good.
Still in LA?
No, I don't live in LA, but I'm in California. Yeah.
California. See, I get them mixed up. California. Sunny California. Sunny. Come on, Doug is sunny.
Yeah, it is. I've been enjoying the World Cup now, like everyone else. It's been probably, I would say, for me, living memory, probably the best, pound for pound tournament than I remember. I think every single game pretty much has been intense, exciting. I think it helps that it's being hosted in the biggest media markets. So there's a way of Americans have a way of bringing attention to things basically that the rest of the world doesn't. So big great tournament so far. I think I overheard you saying the African teams have been a disappointment. I agree. I agree to a large extent, especially Senegal. I had hope in them and Ivory Coast as well, especially because Ivory Coast lost. Like who did they lose to? I think ordinary Norway. Yeah.
Talk to me. So you've been enjoying the World Cup. You've been loving it. Have you been enjoying Manchester United transfer window, Sean?
No, that part has not been enjoyable at all.
Give me your 2 pence on what's been going on in Manchester United transfer window.
I don't know.
Talk to me, Sean. Talk to me.
For me personally, right? I feel like we're being penny wise, pound foolish, especially with the news today that we're willing to pay 80 million plus 5 in add-ons. And the difference between us and Tottenham is that Tottenham was willing to pay all 85 up front. I don't think 5 million is really much to quibble about. I think when I look at Tottenham spending overall on the players that they've gotten, to me that's our midfield right there. That's the midfield we're looking to sign to United, Tonali and Matheus Fernandes. That's the midfield right there. And if you're telling me I could get both those players for 185 million combined, I would complain about the price for sure, right? I would argue with you about the price, but I think in 2026, that's kind of where football is right now. And it just ironically or unironically, depending on how you look at it just seems like the exact same thing is happening again to Carrick in the sense that here you have a team that's punched above its weight relatively and is supposed to take the next step, the next step they're supposed to take. And that's being a big club. You invest. Like there's no close your eyes and spend the money. You spend on quality, right? I think everyone has that's one piece of furniture or that's one clothing item or that's one investment that this is supposed to last you X amount of years, so you spend on it. And I think when I look at both players, I just feel like it is what it is, and United should have been braver and spent and be more aggressive in the market, because if we miss out on these two players, I'm just struggling to see what else is out there. I don't buy the Alex Scott hype, and I don't see how you could get Alex Scott for a reasonable price, unless you're getting Chouameni. I just feel like United have I don't know slipped, like they don't, like they let this one pass them by. And I think they're in a very delicate position where the only way out is to do something, is to really like earn your pay. Like, right? I imagine that like between Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox, they are pulling all nighters trying to figure out the way out of this nightmare that they seem to have found themselves. I'm not feeling very very comfortable or confident in the future for United, honestly.
Okay, Sean, just to ask the question. So a kid that's only played deep line in midfield for about 7 months, right? In top level football, in Premier League football, you were willing to pay 85 million pounds for him.
I think the value of Matheus Fernandes.
Let me just say this, and they wanted the money all. I think they wanted 80 million specifically.
No. So they wanted 85. They wanted 85, right?
No. But they wanted upfront, not installments.
They wanted upfront 85, and United were only willing to pay 80 upfront. That's to me, that's £5 million difference. To me, is not worth where the situation I think we found ourselves. If we were at 60-80 or 70-80, I could hear it. But for £5 million to be the difference, I just feel like that was somebody trying to be too clever, right? I think the United team, their bluff was called. I don't think they thought Tottenham had, the funds basically to make this happen. I think Tottenham seemed to have surprised everybody in the market. And I feel like the fact that Matheus Fernandes is 21 years old is irrelevant. Like, I feel like that's just not where football is anymore. In this day and age, right? You played 7 months, 6 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years. How many months of football does Elliot Anderson have on his belt? And he went for 100 or something million. The price of a player is the value of the player, and that's how much a willing buyer and a willing seller are willing to exchange. It just is what it is. United are going to have to spend. We were going to have to spend at least 150 million on our midfield, right? That's between the two star players we're looking for. So you can split that 80-70. You can make it 75-75. But when £5 million is the difference we're talking about between signing Matheus Fernandes and not signing him, I just feel like our bluff was called, and it's unfortunate basically that we lost out, because for me the market is in a very bad place. Everybody and their grandma knows that United are in the market for midfielders. Everyone knows that, right? So especially now that our two targets, our two publicized, briefed, reported on targets have now gone for £100 million to Nali, £85 million Martin Fernandez each. So the benchmark has been set for sought after midfielders in the market right now. Like we've made life more difficult for ourselves. And for me, only somebody like Chouameni would make this summer, anything close to a success.
Interesting, Sean. I fundamentally disagree that Mateus Fernandez is worth 85 million.
I'm not saying he's worth it.
And for, you'd be shocked. I don't need anything, Sean. So have a go at the vultures. You know my agenda. I want them out of this football club. I think they're incompetent. There's gross misconduct. If there was any proper laws in this country, the Glazers would never have been allowed to buy Manchester United, and let alone do the damage that they've done to the football club. And then Ineos BS coming in now and doing their BS as well. Their incompetence is there for everybody to see. So you don't need me. I've argued with you for 2 years, 3 years straight on here, talking about how much I hate the Glazers. So if is there an opportunity to stick it to them, I will stick it to them. But on this one, I actually agree with him. That's a shock. I know that some of you are shocked. It's a fair. Let me finish, and I'll let you come back in because I didn't interrupt. Mateus Fernandez is not worth 85 million or anywhere close to 85 million. He's a 21-year-old footballer who was predominantly, when he was at Southampton, playing as a number 10, came to West Ham. For the first, I think, 3 months of the season, they didn't. But the past 7 months, he played more in the deep line in midfielder. He's put in some great performances. He's got good high ceiling. But is he worth... And Manchester United going to spend that level of money on that kid, then you know how our fan base is. Kid who still needs development, who still needs to get used to playing that position. Coming to Old Trafford, the pressure that £85 million going to carry is a lot. So I'm glad he didn't. Now, Tonali is another thing. There are people who watch Tonali and who rate him, who think Paul Scholes thinks that is a travesty that Manchester United missed out on Tonali, because he said Tonali would have been perfect replacement for Casemiro. I have not watched Tonali in Newcastle. I watched him in a 3, and I don't think he can translate to playing a 2 at Manchester United. That level. So Tonali's not my favorite player to have watched and to have scouted him, to have seen and watched a lot. But you, Sean, can say, you know what, you rate Tonali, and Tonali should be worth that. But Mateus Fernandez, no, from me.
It's not about.
We'll let Lawani in.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that there's a couple of ways to think about what "quote unquote" worth means, right? How much is Mateus Fernandez worth? And I'm saying to you, Mateus Fernandez is worth how much West Ham were asking for, and how much United were willing to pay. And United had set the value for Mateus Fernandez. We had said we were willing to pay £80 million up front. That is the valuation. So you're telling me that £85 million is too much, but £80 million is enough? I don't see the difference there, right? And I'm saying our bluff was called, and I'm calling it a fumble. A fumble because we did not have either the market intelligence, right, or the balls to see through with what West Ham were asking for. Market intelligence, I mean, we did not understand that for whatever reason, Tottenham now had access to this line of credit basically to be able to afford the transfer. The balls in the sense that these guys are trying to be clever by half. They're telling themselves, congratulating themselves, patting themselves on the back for what they did last summer with Mbeumo and Cunha, right? And telling themselves that they have some kind of special playbook that allows them to go into the market and apply the exact same structure every single time. And I feel like that's just a naive way to approach things. I'm saying that for our midfield rebuild that we've been trying to do for, I don't know, the past 15 or so years, right? It was going to cost us money. Regardless, it was going to cost us money. You have now a player like Mateus Fernandez, who we have been scouting since he was at Southampton, right? And giving just the Premier League, it just is what it is. A young player at West Ham, they're going to try to raise money. And again, I come back to the price. 80 million is how much United are willing to pay. Don't tell me 85 million is too much when you're willing to pay 80 million. That's the argument that I'm making.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with the last part that about they think that they can run the same playbook that they did last summer by basically saying the players have to come to us. We did a whole show about that yesterday. where the players have to be they only players who want to come here we only want players who want to come here. Who the F are you? What was the last time you won a Premier League title? Or you were close? What the F are Manchester United? Well, we're Wikipedia page, let's be real. But people, get the horns out. Get the horns out, everybody. Sean and Adewale agree with each other for once. Let me just read this out slowly. So before that, so that I don't faint, let me just grab the chair properly because it never happens. For the first time ever, I actually agree with Sean. If United were willing to spend 80 million on a kid, which is stupid in the first place, we should have paid the extra 5 million. 100 million for Tonali is okay with me. Good player. Yeah, some people rate him. Some people, I mean, I can't say I watch enough of Newcastle, but I know that he plays in a 3. I want to let Luwani to have his 2 pence. I want to let that in, but to me, the idea, Sean, where they can think they can run the same playbook as they did the season before, then no, I'm not with that. I am not with that whatsoever. So go ahead, Luwani. Luwani, give me your 2 pence, man. Where you stand with Manchester United transfer window, summer window, Tonali, Mateus Fernandes, what do you think of him? All of that and more. Talk to me.
So when it comes to this transfer window, I kind of I don't read Tonali, and for different reasons. I've watched Newcastle. I didn't watch enough of Newcastle, but I've watched enough of them to understand that Tonali is not the one that makes them tick. They've suffered more from the absence of Bruno Guimaraes, which is their main creator, and they've suffered more for the absence of the big man in the midfield, the Brazilian guy, than Tonali. Now, is he a bad player? No, he's not. But for what we need to achieve, I don't think Tonali will make a big difference for us. Now, when it comes to what you say about paying 85 million for Matias Fernandes, I don't believe paying 85 million in this market, in this day and age for a midfielder. I don't believe that anymore. It's overpaying for the position. And if you're not overpaying for the position, you certainly do not want to overpay for the potential, for the talent. Not that I don't rate Matias Fernandes, but the issue that we have is that he's a fantastic potential. And we're talking about potential, and Manchester United organization is 2 things that do not match. Because if you bring in that kid now at that price, you put him in an organization that's not ready to welcome or nurture a talent like him, we might end up destroying him, which we already did. We almost did for Kobe Mino, the same thing we already did for many other talents in the past. So I don't think we should be in the business of paying 85 million for him. We just not that club yet. Maybe if we achieve a certain level of consistency after building a cohesive midfield, and we're looking for somebody to maintain that consistency and keep us operating at a high level, yes, we can go pay 85 million for Matias Fernandes. You see the way Arsenal did it. They built their team, their whole team. They built it. They have all their pieces in place, and when they needed to raise their game to another level, they went to pay all the money for Declan Rice, and I think that's the way it's supposed to be done. As for our midfield right now, what I think we should be doing is we should be focusing on building a midfield, and the brand name, the marquee name, don't matter to me too much. Yes, you can bring in 2 starters, it's fine for me. You already have Kobe Mino, which is a main stay, and then you already have Bruno Fernandes. Now, we start with Ederson, which we all see as a squad player. Okay, that's fine. It's not a bad squad player. But now, if you bring in 2 starters, that's okay. We should look to spend not more than 100 million for those 2 midfield starters that can be rotated between Kobe Mino, Ederson, and Bruno Fernandes. And I advocate that we go more for balance. That's why I'm not looking at the marquee name. I'm looking more for balance. We're talking about maybe Baleba at the right price. We're talking about maybe Manu Kone at the right price. Chouameni, forget about him. We're talking about somebody like Sangari at the right price. That will give us the balance, or Adam Wharton at the right price. Those are the things we need to be focusing on. Why? Because there are other areas of the team that need to be addressed. And we every
More
time we're
than
talking
more
about
than
the
midfield.
midfield, yes, there are areas. I promise you right now, even watching the World Cup, I realize how important the fullbacks are. Right? We still have Luke Shaw over there, our own journeyman, and Dalot, which we don't know what to do out of him. So if we go into next season and we're trying to do that whole play out the back vibe thing, and we still going in it with Luke Shaw and Dalot, we think they are elite. The Premier League is passing these guys by, and you put in more pressure. You even we're talking about the fullback, right? We're not even addressing the center backs. Look at our main center back quartet. Lenny Yoro is not ready to take on the starting position. Eden Heaven is not ready neither. We're talking about Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, and Delete. Like seriously, we have other problems, other areas that need to be addressed.
I don't think we have a more pressing priority right now for the team than midfield. I just don't think so. And my concern, right, my worry, Luani, is that the price of admission for the level we want to be is a 70 million, 80 million pound midfielder. Like, and I feel like the club recognizes that, which is why they were willing to pay 80 million in the first place for Fernandes. Right, you're looking at you're talking about a midfielder who, for West Ham at a 21 was basically leading the charge in their midfield. So this is somebody who, whatever you say about his potential, right, you're talking about somebody you have at least 5 years to develop, right? You have the first contract can be a 4 year long or 5 year long contract, and he has a lot of time, a lot of runway to hit the ceiling. So it's an investment in the long term. And this is somebody who you're not only investing in the long term, but has been delivering at the Premier League level basically at his age. And you're talking about Tonali. So, like, my concern is really that Carrick would need to be very clever, right? As clever as Ateta has shown himself to be, as clever as maybe somebody like Klopp seems to be able to get by with the kind of mishmash midfield that you're proposing, right? Of 30 million pound, 40 million pound squad guys. No, I think for us to be able to get to the level that we need people, right, who unfortunately have huge price tags around them. For me, it's the old United model that you used to go and sign the best players from Premier League teams. The difference is that now, because of inflation, right, because of inflation over time, now what Fergie used to get, Bebatov here, Ferdinand there, Rooney there, Carrick here, right, what he used to be able to get for record signings at the time of 20 million, 30 million. Now you have to pay 80 million. It just is what it is, right? And on the flip side, the TV revenues are a lot more now, so the money is there. But like, let's not try to be. Ederson is our squad player. We cannot have a midfield of all squad players. We need some star quality. And for me, Fernandez and Tonali were going to be that star quality. All this like Sangare, like Sangare to me is the third person you sign, right? In addition to Tonali and Matheus Fernandez. I can't forget about Chouameni. We need a Champions League level midfielder. Like we need a midfielder who can do all the things that we want and is able to do it on the big stage and has done it, already. And they cost a lot of money. If you look around the Premier League, right? Liverpool's midfield, Soboslai like 100 million euros, McAllister 70 million euros, Gravenberch 80 million euros, right? Look at Chelsea, and Fernandez 100 million. What's this guy's name? Caicedo another 100 million. Arsenal spent 100 on Declan Rice. Zubimendi 55 million. Is how much they spent on Zubimendi. Even Odegaard was around 30 million, and they got him for loan. On loan first. Fabio Vieira 30 something million too. Eberechi is a 60 million, right? If you're spending on the squad, you have to spend money, and depending on the dynamics, depending on demand and supply, right? In this career transfer window, midfielders are the priority. I think 2 years ago it was strikers. Another summer window is like in defenders. But this year, as far as this window is concerned, the midfielders are the hottest thing on the market. We saw Elliot Anderson go for 100 or something million. We saw Tonali go for 100. We saw Matheus Fernandes go for 85. The next central midfielder that goes anywhere, maybe it's Enzo Fernandez. Real Madrid had to release a whole statement talking about how they promise you're not going to sign Enzo Fernandez, right? Midfielders are the hottest thing on the market this particular summer window. So United are going to have to spend money. It's just a matter of who. Are we going to end up with an Anthony situation, right? Where after wasting time, beginning of the window, we're not going to end up buying some kind of World Cup fluky guy like in the Mecha from Dortmund. That's another, because we're going to need to spend the money. Anybody we go and talk to, at least they know now that United has 80 million to spend on the midfielder. And unfortunately for us, we lost out on the guy we actually wanted. So anybody we go and talk to knows that was not their first choice, our first choice. I feel like we're in a fucked up position. Any which way you spin it, like it's a messed up position to be. It's I think naivete on the part of like Ineos and the people who are managing the club. And they better hope that they get their shit together, because the last thing, I can't take it anymore. If we end up in another situation where Carrick isn't back, because we saw it with Mourinho, we saw it with Solskjaer, we saw it with Ten Hag, we saw it with Amorim, sorry, Mangal. It's the same exact story. You have a good first season, you go into the transfer window, you're looking for Fabregas, you get Fellaini, right? Like it's the exact same thing over and over again. Incompetence in the transfer window, and I just feel like this one, and you can try and spin it any way you want, but if you had 80 million to pay, you should have had 85 million. And if you weren't smart enough to know that somebody else was going to spend what you weren't willing to pay, then I feel like those guys don't really know what they're doing.
Now, I agree with you in the sense that we all want quality players to build a quality team. But it's not always a guarantee that if you get quality players, you end up building a consistent quality team. So I think the idea, for example, for Chouameni, when I look at, not that I don't rate him, but I think this is one of the cases where the prestige of playing for France and the prestige of playing for Real Madrid have overinflated his value and his assessment. Tchouaméni have been playing for Real Madrid, I don't know for how many years. I still don't look at him as a mainstay midfield in that team. Same thing for France. The last time I watched him play for France was during I watched him during the final against Argentina. That midfield was overrun. It's the same thing when I watched him during I think it was in the Euros when they lost 2-1 against Spain. That midfield was still overrun. Tchouaméni and he is one of those players that when you watch his games and then when you watch the YouTube compilations, they're literally the same thing. He does not give you certain things that I'm looking that I think that can complete that Manchester United midfield. He's a younger version of Casemiro, midfield destroyer, but when you watch him very well, he does not carry the ball, not at all. And the second, he does not play between the lines neither. So he sits and then he destroys. That's his specialty. I think we can do better than that. We can look in the Premier League and have, for example, Nordin, you're talking about Eli Anderson. Eli Anderson is a little more polyvalent than that. He have a little more balls to his to his arrow. He know how to play that midfield. He's more of a complete player, even though I believe he does things to it in everything he does. But at least he can carry the ball, he can pass, he can pop in certain areas. But I don't think if we're paying for Tchouaméni, we're paying 85 million. We're essentially paying for the name, and I don't think he's worth that, honestly. But I agree with you that we need to spend money. I just don't think that we need to spend that much money building that midfield. The players that I'm advocating to bring in, I'm not advocating bringing a whole bunch of squad players. I say they have to be starters, but they have to be the right profile so that we can make a combination that can take us to the next level.
Yeah, I think the thing you can say about Tchouaméni as a critique is that he's kind of injury prone, right? And that whatever type of pace of football he thinks he's seen in his life, the Premier League is a step higher than that. I would accept that as a critique. But the guy is a baller. Like he's one of those like purebred, all action footballers, right? Kind of like Pogba, but with more of a defensive nose. I'll take him in a heartbeat, especially for 85 million or so. Again, for me, my initial dream signings for this summer window, I wanted Ederson, Tonali, and Fernandes. That's the midfield I wanted. Because when I look around the markets, right, I don't really see that much quality or that much reasonable quality out there. Alex Scott is another injury-prone player, and he's not going to start. I'm looking for somebody to first and foremost replace Casemiro. So we don't have that yet. And then I'm looking for somebody to give Kobe Mino a run for his money, because at Kobe Mino's age, he shouldn't be the guaranteed starter. There should be somebody just as good as him or competing with him for his position. And we need somebody to also keep Bruno Fernandes honest or be a squad player for either of those two. So I wanted three midfield signings. And I thought we were off to a good start with Ederson. And I knew that our other two midfield signings needed to be expensive midfield signings. So when I look around the market, I just don't see anyone that is worth the amount of money we're gonna be able to pay. Tottenham have gone and done a coup. Like if you ask me, they have done and they've signed our midfield basically. That's the midfield that I wanted. So every time, and the thought of De Zerbi, as good as he is a manager, with those two players really worries me, right? So I think that there's a way a club can move in the transfer window that shows that like you're serious, you mean business. Say whatever you want about Liverpool, right? For spending £100 million on both Ekitike and Isak in one summer window. But now Iraola has a fantastic squad to work with, right? So whatever will have happened with Marcus Fernandez this summer window or Tonali, you're signing quality players, right? So even if Carrick isn't good enough to get the best out of them, you've invested in a long-term foundation that you can build on, right? And these sort of players have decent resale value. So I mean, all in all, like I just when I look around the transfer window, who is there for us? Alex Scott, Felix Nemecha from Dortmund. Like the Chouameni thing seems like a long shot. Nothing impresses me that I'm hearing about, and I'm concerned. Like it's not a good look from my perspective. Basically, this summer, I don't think they performed well in this window so far.
Listen, I come back in and I've always told you about the incompetence of these owners and this football structure. I don't rate this football structure. There is nothing that they've ever done to prove that. With the Ashworth dealings, with the Ten Hag dealings, with the bringing in Amarim, knowing that he's got that style of football, for him saying that we have to start and taking me to 15 and embarrassing himself, embarrassing the football club. So Ineos, what they are incompetent, absolutely incompetent. But the truth stands that I don't think Tonali is worth 100 million. I would not have paid for that because I don't rate him like that. I don't rate Tonali like that. And I don't rate Chouameni. The only player that I rated was Anderson. And I thought he's the next guy to be worth 100 million. I would have paid 100 million for him. Because I think he's further along in his development than Alex Scott, than Fernandez. And for me, he's a better player than Tonali. So he was the player that I would have paid. But obviously, Man City have done what they've done. And he's gone there, and that's bye-bye big guns. But there are midfielders still available. There are midfielders available.
Like
who
the Nuruddin?
There are midfielders still available.
Tell me who.
United can come and get them. There are
tell
players,
me like who.
Well, Thomas Sangara. What do you know about Mohamedou Sangara? What do you know about him, Sean?
I know he doesn't have the Premier League experience that Tonali or Fernandez or Anderson have.
Yeah, you could say that, but I believe he's more talented than those two put together.
I would welcome that. I'm totally open to that. I would love to be surprised.
To be the guy with the midfield of Neves and of Fetinia, and to be ranked higher than Fetinia this season in the French league, where Lens played well and were leading a part of the season, being top of the league of the French league, coming up against that Paris Saint-Germain squad says a lot to me. Says a lot. And that's the closest league for me to the physicality in Europe. It's not Germany. It's not Italy. Italy is working 50-year-old man's walking football. That's what that is. And that's where the worry for me stands with Ederson. Signed. That's where the worry is, because that league is such a slow league. Would he be able to adapt? But
so think about my critique.
Let me finish. Sangara, I don't worry about him adapting. And I think there are other midfielders in the Premier League, and people are getting paid 300 grand a year to scout these players. So I can't shout everybody. I don't know every midfielder who's done really well. And
that's fair, right?
Vanderberg's done really well, but they don't want to sign anybody over 28. They don't want to sign 28
That's fair, and we can
also
say
like
that my
Siddiqui.
critique.
I like Siddiqui from. I've watched him this season. I love Siddiqui.
I
rate
like
Scott,
Guadi from Morocco.
I've got question marks against Alex Scott that he's had an ACL operation at that age, and the fact that is he a system player? Because I look at the other guy, Gerkayes, who went to Liverpool and didn't look like the same Gerkayes who played at Bournemouth, who was the assist king. So those question marks for me remain with Alex Scott, but I do rate him, and I watched him more than I watched majority of midfielders in the Premier League this season.
I don't disagree with anything you've said, right? And just like the valuation of Matheus Fernandes, because again, as of today, Matheus Fernandes is worth 100 million, right? As of when Declan Rice signed for Arsenal, he was worth 100 million. Today, Declan Rice is worth 200 million, right? He's worth double, triple that, because he had paid Arsenal back times 10 of what they paid for him. So my critique to me is valid as of today. Once the whistle blows and the season starts, I will be 100% behind Carrick, even if our midfield is Ederson, Kobe Mino, and Wilfred Ndidi from Leicester, right? I would be 100% behind the team and will support them. And I'll spend my mental time thinking of ways that what they have can work. But I'm saying as of today, I'm not feeling confident and I'm not feeling inspired about the season going forward. I don't think we're moving the way we're supposed to be moving in the transfer window.
But Sean, what did you expect? You come here all season defending these muppets. Keep telling me we've changed. Manchester United have changed. We've not changed.
So if 80 million had done the deal, I would have been more than happy. And if we had paid 85 million, I would have been here defending them against people who were criticizing them for spending that much money.
Let Luwani come in and then we'll come back to you. Go ahead, Luwani.
No, I'm just thinking that when we are in the process of rebuilding, we shouldn't be in the business of spending that much money on any player at any position, right? If you take the example of Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, for example, they have achieved a certain level of consistency that to the point that even when they spend a lot of money on a single player to address a single position, you have the impression that they're just topping it off, right? Liverpool, for example, last year they spent money on Ekitike and Isaac, and before that it was the German midfielder.
So they signed the other German player as well.
Yeah, the German midfielder and carrick. So you have the impression that yes, the era of Mane, Firmino, Salah is over. They still trying to bring in a little potency in the attack. They just stopping it up because they were able to, before that, build a legacy team, a team that can stay up there and compete. So it's justified. Same thing with City. When City go sign the like of Semenyo, Doku, and the Turkey, they just topping off what they already create. There's a certain level that they don't drop beneath. It's the same thing for Arsenal now when they bring in Gyökeres and all of that. They are already there. But for us, it's like I think we have done well to get into the Champions League, but I don't think we are that team yet that we should be focused on rebuilding the whole team, not just addressing not just throwing money at what we perceive to be a problem, because we know the preponderance, the cheapness of our owners in spending money in the market. And if we don't do a short spending, it'd be so hard to hold their feet to the fire, because if we underachieve next year, for example, if we don't end up in the Champions League again, it'll be so hard to get them to spend more money. And that's just what I think it is.
No, well, Wani, I'm saying we would need to spend, or there wouldn't be a need to spend as much money if we underachieve this season, right? Because we've already invested in quality midfielders that have a lot of time, a lot of years ahead of them of football left to play, right? And I think I hear you saying that Ineos was right to not spend this amount of money, because given the phase of development that the club is in right now, we should be spreading the money around more than splashing it on one or two players. I hear you. I think that's a valid point of view to have. And if I'm partial to it, I can understand it. My concern, my fear is that the paradigm has just shifted like beyond repair again. Like the price of admission in football today is 80 million pounds, 70 million pound midfielders. That's just forget about the amount of money, right? Like the forget about the 80 million, it seems big, right? But 80 million pounds today is really what 40 million pounds was 3 years ago. If you're lucky and you have some kind of deep insight and you're able to find like a Wijnaldum. So Wijnaldum from Newcastle to Liverpool on that club, fantastic signing, right? It wasn't a lot of money. He was a great servant for Klopp, an important part of how Klopp was able to play his style of football. I would love it if we're able to find that kind of gem in the markets, right? And by definition, it means you're not impressed at first glance, but it turns out after the fact to have been a great signing. I welcome that, right? And I'm saying I'm perfectly open to changing my opinion 3 months from now if it turns out that or 5 months from now if I actually find some kind of quality in the market. But my fear, and I hope I'm wrong, my fear is that good midfielders in the world are very expensive, right? And that the price of admission, because this season, the reason why we're able to come third is because Casemiro had a second wind of his career, the best season of his life outside of Madrid. Kobe Mino had a revitalization. He was trying to prove everybody wrong, prove Amorim wrong, and Kobe played the best football of his life. And Bruno Fernandes had a once in a lifetime assist record breaking season. So all the stars aligned for us, and we were only playing once a week. Right now, we're going into a new season. We're playing the Premier League, FA Cup, Carling Cup, Champions League. Not only do we need to have a squad in terms of just numbers, we need a squad. And Ugarte is a broken leaf now. He's on the injury chair. Mason Mount is not reliable, right? He's also on the injury chair. Our only midfielders are Kobe Mino, Bruno Fernandes, and our new guy Ederson. So in the very least, we needed to bring in two more, not squad players, two more first 11 starting candidates. So who are those guys? Is what I'm asking. Like who are they, and where are they going to come from? And how much is your budget for spending them? Because if your budget is less than 185 million, I would just love to hear how much your budget actually is.
Sean,
No,
I
this,
think.
this is
Go ahead, Ronnie.
no, this is where the recruitment have to earn their money. Like we keep talking about, we need to spend good money in order to bring in good players, but you need to earn the right to have a shrewd spending in the market by being a good team. We keep talking about that, but City goes around every year and they'll bring in the like of Turkey, Reinders for 40, 50 million, right? And how do they do that?
It was
They're able to do
30 million it was, and it wasn't a secret.
yeah,
Turkey
yeah.
wasn't a secret. Turkey's full deal was like, I think it was like 35 million all put together.
Uh-huh. And the reason they're able to do stuff like that is because their
They got
project
scouted.
is not a hard sell for those players.
No, but why
You
that's not
know,
fair now. Before Man City got here, they spent 50 million pounds in two summer windows back to back on right backs. Right? They bought Bakary Sagna for 50 million first, and then didn't like him and bought another right back again. Right? Man City spent ridiculous money every summer until they became the club that could now eventually do the whole thing of spending 30 million for Czechia. They spent a shit ton of money to get here. You don't get that's what I mean by price of admission. You don't get to be the big club in 2026 if you're not willing to write a fat check. And after you've written a few big checks, you now can go back to now being an aura club that you've spent the money, you've gotten yourself back to the level that you need to get to. Then you can now use the hype and the big name. And even then with Man City, right, where everybody knows that Man City is paying money on the back end. They are paying you money with ridiculous branding fees, right? So we pay 30 million for Turkey, but we Abu Dhabi Airlines signs a ridiculous $20 billion contract with your catering agency for a fake service basically. So like it's I feel like United were tying our hands behind our back, right? And again, I would love it, Ronnie. I would love to find somebody for good value in the market. I hope Ederson is that player, right? I want the guys to earn their pay, as you say. But sometimes things are not as deep as they seem. Sometimes what you see on surface, on paper, is exactly what it is, which is that the two best available prospects in the markets this summer were Tonali and Matias Fernandez. Those were the two midfielders in the market this summer, and now they've gone to one club. I'm concerned.
You said
let me
that
just
too.
come in there.
Yes.
Let me just come in there. I think, Sean, what you said before Luani came in, I agree with. The problem is that I'm a big believer in spending the money on top quality. And I think I understand what Luani is coming from as well, because Luani is basically saying that we're not there yet to be buying £100 million midfielders. We need to build all aspects of and build the spine. Now, but I also agree with you that I think we should have signed 3 midfielders this summer. The Ineos, I'm sorry to say, Sean, didn't. The reason why Amarim got sacked was because he asked for a midfielder. So they didn't sign him any midfielders last summer. They didn't do it in January. Then they sacked him in was it January, December? He got sacked in December because of the thing of the midfield. Why didn't Manchester United get those deals on the way, and then as soon as the season ended, boom, 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 do it like that? Because they've had enough time. They've had a season to assess it properly and to get the midfielders that they needed. Because I believe they're incompetent. You believe it's because they didn't sign Matheus Fernandes. But I believe there's a structural, there is a foundational.
No. I'm agreeing with you that this is a sign of incompetence. I'm acknowledging that this move in the summer, where we are right now, is a sign of incompetence. 100% I agree with you there.
Okay, fair enough. Well, to me, the only difference I think we share is that we need to get top quality, and I'm willing to pay for top quality. I think Matheus Fernandes is not at that top quality level yet, and I don't think Tonali is a £100 million midfielder. The only guy that I was willing to pay £100 million for, as I explained, was Anderson, and he's chosen to go to another club. And I also agree with you. What could have been 50 million a couple of years ago is now 80 million. But that is because I'm buying the experience. Like you said, the Champions League experience. I'm buying the competency of the player in all aspects of his game. And Matheus Fernandes is not there yet. Big up to Time Space to continue and says, Sean, you're tripping. Well, usually I agree with Sean. The world is full of talent. You're willing to look beyond the obvious names. Just to name a few. Stiller, Lucien Aguma, Arta Fenamin, Ayub Bowadi, Richard Rios. So he's saying the players are out there. But for me, Luani, it's about the top quality, and the scouting have to be dead on and right. Now, I, as somebody who I watched the French League couple of games here and there last season, and every time I watch Lens, Sangara stood out like he just stands out. Just the way he plays, he stands out, Luani, above the rest. I'm saying, have they watched him? He's come through the school of, the what they called, the drink that you drink. It gives you wings. Red Bull. Yeah, Salzburg. I think that's where he came from. I think Len signed him from Salzburg. So if anybody knows, then Pavel will know more into him. I don't know why Manchester United are not looking at him. Now, I could be wrong that the scouts have looked at him and he's got incredibly major deficiencies because they're breaking his game down bit by bit. And I'm just watching him for a couple of games here and there and going, he's a top player. And I'm looking at the stats and I'm looking at my eye test and going, well, the stats and the eye test match up. He's got 100% recoveries. That's unheard of.
No, so there's quantitative factors now, right?
95% tackles, something like that.
He could be on paper. He could be on paper the best player in the world, right? And he could be everything that you're saying he is. But there's one X factor that I'm sure the recruitment guys are looking at as well, which is that once you step out in Old Trafford, the lights are very, very bright. The lights are extremely bright. The lights in England are 5,000 times. No, the lights. No, but the lights in England. I went from Old Trafford to England. The lights in the Premier League are a lot brighter than they are in France. And so, for somebody like Fernandes, right, or somebody like Tonali, right, who is used to every week the English media hiding in your bushes, worrying about whether you ate fish and chips or sausage and eggs, right? Writing about the color of skirt that your girlfriend wore, right? Like the level of scrutiny is just not at the same stage. So I feel like all these guys, Sangare, Stella surprised me. Ineos, James Wilcox surprised me. Actually signed somebody of quality, and I'll come back here, 5 months from now and say that, like, we found value in the market. But as far as the landscape looks like to me, it looks like we had the rug pulled from under us by Spurs. And I would have loved for us to be in a position where I could wipe my hands and say, okay, we're done with our midfield signings. We spent 200 million in one summer on three midfielders, Ederson, Tonali, and Fernandez. Right. So assuming the price that Tottenham paid for, or I'm going to pay for Tonali and Fernandez at the going price, 185, plus 30 for Ederson. Right. So you say you spent 210, 215 in one summer on three midfielders. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as the going price for rebuilding your squad. 250 million pounds in one summer to sign three midfielders is good enough for me.
Big up, Jarvis.
Big up.
Big up, Jarvis.
Hey, guys. Hey.
He's everywhere. Norway, Brazil. What is it, tonight or tomorrow? Monday?
No, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. UK.
Sorry, Jarvis. Norway's been back home, man. I
No, you don't know that, Sean. You don't know that. You do not know that, Sean.
Anything can happen in one single game of football, Nuruddin. 100%.
Exactly. We saw it last night. Word to Cape Verde.
Cape Verde, yeah. Yeah, no, they entertained us, and I'm sure Norway will entertain us, but I feel like the result would be one way. It would be entertaining. It would be very entertaining, I'm sure. And we'll have a good game, but yeah.
I'm not even sure it will be an entertaining game because, you got to realize Ståle Solbakken, who is the Norwegian coach, is very similar to Carrick when it comes to the way he plays. And he likes to sit in a mid-block, low-block, play contact and compact and play on the counter. So, it depends on Brazil if they want to open up. And, Ancelotti is kind of a pragmatic manager himself sometimes. And, I can see it being kind of a stalemate. None of the teams are willing to open up and just, play itself out and first goal wins, basically. It could be that type of game because everybody is expecting a high-scoring game. So, but for it to be a high-scoring game, you need to give up space. As I always said, football has four phases. It's in possession, it's out of possession, it's transition, in possession when you lose the ball, and transition when you win the ball. So that's the four phases of play. And when both teams play on the safe side, and then none of them is willing to lose the ball in awkward places and be outnumbered, you could see a stalemate type of game. Brazil's strengths are playing on Vinicius Junior, and our strengths, is countering on Haaland and Nusa and the quick players. So we will see. He will see every game lives its own life. But what we have seen so far in this World Cup is that games, as soon as you have goals, people and teams go for it. For the equalizer. You saw it in the Senegal Belgium game. You saw it in the
Norway.
Yeah, and yesterday Cape Verde against Argentina. That's been the tune so far in this World Cup. So yes, it could end up being a really exciting game, but I'm not expecting to see Norway go into Brazil's throat and go at them and try to score goals at 0-0. No, I don't. But I'm looking forward to the game, and also England against Mexico. It could go either way. That one too. It's high altitude, playing at the Azteca. I don't know. Could we see the end of both England and Norway tomorrow?
I've just got the Paraguay-France game on now, and it's 80 degrees. I think it might be the MetLife, if I'm not mistaken. New York State. Is it really hot in New York State?
It's not that hot right now. It's in our area. The sun was not out today, so it's not that.
It was 100 and something degrees this week now, right? On the East Coast.
Yes. Yesterday was bad, but today it was a little cooler than yesterday.
Oh, sorry, they're in Philadelphia. They're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but it's the same
they're
area.
Not in New York State. No, it's not. It's 38 degrees, bro, and it feels like 40. That's what people are saying. I can see people in the crowd with fans like that, breathing heavy. It's Philly.
It's the Americans, they are exaggerating. All of them are used to the AC.
And by the way,
everywhere.
And by the way, And by the way, I can never wish the United States happy 4th of July or any of that bullshit. I can never do that. Knowing the Holocaust or what they've done to the indigenous people.
Fair play.
And what they've done to the people that they robbed from Africa and worked to death. And actually, they ate some of those black people. Yes, you heard it here. They ate some of those people. So, Jarvis,
come on,
too long.
It's a mixed bag, right? So it's a celebration also in some regards, 4th of July.
That's a Holocaust of millions.
And the US are going to smash Belgium. They're going to smash Belgium this Monday. And that's the quarterfinals. Then it's anybody's game against Spain.
Without Balogun, even without Balogun, I think they will beat them. I think Belgium Senegal just got nervous. 2-0 up after 10 minutes. That's the most horrendous disappointment for me. They have been the biggest letdowns in this World Cup. But go ahead, Jarvis. You've got 10 minutes.
Quickly, my first thought on the 1st of July is actually, I think it's a good thing for the Americans to celebrate their own independence. It's their freedom from their colonizers, Great Britain. Unfortunately, it's so long ago that they have forgot how it is to be colonized. And I think they should remind themselves on this day how bad it is actually to being colonized, and that they were willing to fight for their freedom, because they have colonized so many other countries by doing the military oppression, warship, all the things they have done to the world the last 100 years or 50 years at least. So yeah, in a way it could be a good thing if they do it by the right what do you call it, intentions. But okay, but that's just my 2 pence on that one already.
Jarvis, I'm never going to forget the millions and millions, hundreds of millions of indigenous people that got wiped out. So that the Spanish and the British.
That was not just Americans. It was the Inquistadores, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, all of them.
But it was the Americans now who got rid of
You should never forget. You don't have to forget
the forefathers who were partly responsible for murdering and slaughtering. So the founding fathers who slaughtered and murdered millions of indigenous people. My thoughts are with them. Not fucking young thing. Go ahead.
That's what all I want to say.
And I've got nothing against, by the way, individual American people. I've got nothing against you. I just got the way that your country came about was due to a Holocaust, and I'm not going to forget that. But go ahead, Joanne. Jarvis, go on. Just we can get into geopolitical game. I want to watch.
No. Yeah. I just wanted to mention quick 2 thoughts.
I've got a question for you. Do you believe in a Laurie Whitwell tweet tonight that Manchester United were willing to pay 100 million? 80 million plus 5 for Fernandes?
Well, my first thought was, if that's true, because just to clarify, as I said in the comments, the transfer fee is agreed between clubs, but to convince the player, you need to offer him the right package, wages, a clear project, development opportunities, and a pathway into regular game time, and not just regular game time, but to have promises of an important role with plenty of game time. That usually gets the players on board, because we know footballers, they want to play football. And if it's true that we had the money and we were ready to agree with West Ham on the fee, but the player choose elsewhere, we had to have said something in the negotiations with the players, and I think that's under communicated. Did we say, for example, to Matheus Fernandes that he weren't going to be a regular starter, but the backup of Kobe Mainoo, for example? But the promises made by Spurs were from the Serbia that he's going to be a vital part of the squad and a regular starter. So again, I think these things are under-communicated in the world of football. And it could also tell you another thing. If that was the case, and we were only buying Matheus Fernandes to be the understudy of Mainoo, what other players do we have in mind bringing in? Because we know Ederson, but there has to be at least one more. And I would say in this team, Kobe Mainoo always starts if he's fit.
Mm-hmm.
So is it Ederson who is the other guy who will start always with Mainu, or is it a third option that we don't know about yet? And we weren't willing to offer him these conditions: regular starting time, being a vital part of the project, just being an understudy, the guy who comes up and play when needed. So, it's always complicated when you talk about transfers. But when it comes to Laurie Whitwell, it could also be, as you suspect, Nerdin, a PR from the Glazers, from Ineos and from the club. We always know this. They always play this game. It's usually PR, but it could be the other thing also. I just wanted to mention it. So yeah, that's my 2 pence on the Laurie Whitwell thing.
Yeah, I mean, and in general, for me, I'm glad that it didn't happen, Jarvis. I've told you, I've said this to you before. A kid that's only played 7 months in that position, he's not ready. And you know our fan. Can you hear me? You know our fan base. You know how our fan base thinks. You know how our fan base works. You know everything Sean's talked about. So I'm glad that deal didn't happen. And I don't think Tonali's worth 100 million. So I'm not crying over spilt milk when it comes to these two. No, there's a separate thing. Do I think Manchester United are incompetent? First, they made for a 9 months, Jarvis, their number one target was Elliot Anderson. That is shocking. Without talking to his agent, without talking to the player to see how it feels, right? 9 months they said that. Then they fixated, and I already told you, he was here with his agent almost like 40 days ago now, Mateus Fernandes. So they did talk to him. They did try to woo him. But for some reason or somehow, from everything that what we're reading is that one of the biggest reasons was because of De Zerbi. De Zerbi spoke to him and broke it down, what his game's like and how he's going to improve it. So he's gone there, and plus West Ham were going to get the money straight away. Manchester United were going to do installments. So I'm not crying over a spilled milk. That doesn't mean, Jarvis, that they're not midfielders out there. The only thing with me and Sean disagree with, that to me, there are still players out there in the world that need to, the scouting team should have worked on. But do I think they've done that? No, I think they're incompetent. I think they got lackadaisical. I think they thought what they thought last season, there'd be players who are jumping to come to this football club, like Cunha and Mbeumo. Cunha and Mbeumo, when we look back in history, could be the 2 worst players things that happened to Manchester United, because they both admired United when they were young. They're in love with this romanticized version of Manchester United, and that's the reason why they came to Manchester United, because they were fans of Manchester United. They admired Manchester United. And now, in these Muppets' heads, they think that's what's going to work. That's not how transfer get done. That's why we've got all this PR. We only want players who want to come to Manchester United. What the heck are you talking about? Like, you broke it down for them, Jarvis. There are stages to our transfer. You have to come with a package. The most important thing for me, footballers, genuinely good footballers, they want to know how they're going to fit in. You have to convince them of the footballing project, how their game is, how you're going to improve them. And I don't think Manchester United have that. I don't think we're not stable enough to have a developmental plan. I've been banging on about this for years and years to come. I've been talking about how we don't develop players. We mismanage young players. We overplay them. We overhype them. Then big on big wages. Then we wonder why they fail. This is the thing that I've been talking about for years. So I think Mateus, for him and for us,
okay.
Tonali, it's a totally different thing. There are people like Sean who rates him. There are people in the chat who really like Tonali. There are people like Ben. There are people who really like Tonali, and people like Paul Scholes who think Tonali is one of the best midfielders in the world. And that Manchester United missing out is a travesty. The only player that I thought that about was Elliot Anderson. And the only other player that I think that is similar to stats and the eye test is Sangara. And somebody said in the chat, it was actually Verde that signed him from Salzburg Academy or something. So I don't know or took him to the academy.
Wasn't it Leipzig, RB Leipzig, or was it Salzburg? One of them, one of the Red Bulls. Yeah.
I can't hear you, Jarvis.
I said I thought. Yeah, we can hear. I think.
Hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
1 second.
We can hear Jarvis as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was just going to say that Sangare, I believe it came from the RB Leipzig Academy. under Vivell, and then he
Yeah.
was bought to Austria to Rapid Vienna, and then he went to RC Lens. Yeah. But again, you know, as you're right, he's in the academy or a
Red Bull
academy player from under Vivell. But another thing, you know, what I'm seeing now, last two last days, is we have been linked more of two players abroad, not Premier League proven. The only Premier League proven player I've seen we've been linked to repeatedly is Sander Berge, and then you have Chouameni. But today I read about El Anoui, you know, the guy who plays for Morocco, the Roma
18 years
midfielder.
old, Jarvis. I can't.
No, he's 20. He's 25. He's 25. Not Boade. The guy who plays for Morocco, another midfielder, the Roma guy. He plays like a DM. He's very Sanderberg-esque. You know, he's very tidy in his play. You know, he just likes to carry the ball and keep it ticking. And also, we have been linked to Kepler Thuram, Juventus again now. So for me, you know, I think we are, because of the inflation, we are shifting our focus from the Premier League to other leagues, Italian league, French league, and the German league.
And I believe that's the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do.
I think we are being priced out, and I believe that the budget we came in with the window, let's say 200 million. We don't know that, but that's just my speculations. I think the Glazers and Ineos are not willing to raise their budget, even though we have had an inflation in price of 20% on players. So we can't achieve our goals with trying to buy a Premier League proven players. So we have to look elsewhere. I think this is the plan B. We are actually seeing the execution of plan B right in front of our eyes right now. That's just my speculations. I have no proof of it. It's just how I feel we are moving on into the window. So I don't know. What's your take on my hypothesis?
The player that you're talking about is Ainoui.
Yes. Ainoui, yes.
Ainoui, yeah. To
me, answer.
Sorry, Jarvis. I'm sorry. When I watch Roma, the guy who stands out above everybody is Marocone. So Manchester United can go and get Marocone. I believe Marocone is better on the ball than Chouameni. There's the player for you, Sean, that I forgot about. Marocone plays for Roma, but was playing in Germany for a long time. And I was talking about him for a long, long time when he was playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach, if I'm not mistaken. That's who he used to play for.
Yeah.
He played a couple of games, and Luane talk about him a bit more because you watched him as well.
Yeah, I did. I want to go back to the competency issue that with the board, right? I think competency and incompetency is a label that is a sticker. When you put on somebody, it's hard to remove them and come back on your statement. So this board is new, and I won't go as far to say that they're incompetent because they're refusing to spend an exorbitant amount of money.
The last 2 years, Luani, where have you been watching? What are we talking about?
Then 2 years. 2 years from
a football structure that got a sporting director and sacked him. Got it wrong with two managers and just got lucky with a guy who's a Manchester United legend. What are we doing here, Luani?
Okay, so 2 years. I'm saying they knew. So what do you want to judge them by? Are you going to judge them by the fiasco that started after they got appointed, or are you? I'm asking you the question, right? Do you want to judge them by the fiasco that happened after they appointed Ten Hag, or are you going to judge them by the fact that we're back in the Champions League? Either way, you can pick one and leave the other one. Whatever it is that they did, by virtue of whatever chaos happened, we found ourselves in the Champions League. So you can say that at a point during this journey, they pulled the right lever, right? So let's give them at least credit for that. The reason why I'm trying to hold my horses when it comes to this, because I trust Vivell and I trust Wilcox to a certain extent to build a team. Now, when you want to build a team, you also have to take in consideration that you have to build the team to the strength of your manager. When we look at Carrick, the only thing that strikes me, he's not the most tactical, but he's definitely a good man manager. So in that perspective, if you go in and you start spending a lot of money on some specific players, you're not putting just pressure on the players to come and perform right away. You're also putting pressure on the manager to get the best out of that player. And you put Carrick in that situation, we don't know how he's going to react when it comes to that this issue. When you look at Iraola, he just inherited the Liverpool team. This is when we're going to see what he's made of. We know he can coach. We just don't know if he can manage characters. So at this point, that's what I'm saying. Let's be patient. Let's build the team. Let's build Carrick a squad. And if he can prove to us that he can coach, then we can start topping it up for him.
Yeah. But Luani, I'm just gonna say, okay, I agree with, in a way, you can trust Vivell because of his track record. He has proven to the world that he knows how to find talents. Last, when it came to Senny Lammens, for example, I know it's Tony Cotton, but again, I don't know if it's that simple. But again, you know, someone had to trust Tony Cotton on the goalkeeper. But again, what I really want to know, and I will ask Sean about this, because when we talk about the budget, the total budget, as we talked about yesterday, or the other day, 200 million, for example, if we go into the market with that amount of money, and you say to the director of football, Wilcox, you say to the CEO, Berada, and you say to Vivell, who is head of recruitment, and you have Sansoni, or what's his name, the data analytics guy, and you say to them, okay, is this sufficient to bring the players we need? And they say, yes, boss, yes, that's sufficient. And then the market starts, and suddenly, boom, we have the inflation from hell for us because of Elliot Anderson and Manchester City willing to overpay by that much. Same goes for Spurs coming in with owners, giving them 90 millions extra. And by the way, Spurs have no limit.
200 million, by the way, Java.
Yes.
200 million. 100 million in October, 100 million now. That's why they're able to afford Tonali and Fernandez, by the way. Manchester United owners can do that, Jarvis. Please don't miss to make that point.
No. Well,
yeah.
My point is, just let me finish my thought. Is that Spurs have the ability to spend 115% of their revenue, not to break the new rules, PFA rules of the Premier League, because they have no Europe. But we are limited to 75%, I believe, or is it 70%? I'm just paraphrasing. I don't have all the facts, but roughly that's the estimation. So again, Spurs.
If that makes it, then Manchester United have got over 350 million pounds to
spend.
Yes,
we do. Obviously. But my point is about the budget, because you can say you trust Vivell, you trust Wilcox, Berada to do the right thing based on their track record last season. But again, it's all about the owners and the money, because 200 million is not sufficient to get in the 5 to 6 players we need and at least the 3 midfielders we need. It's not sufficient because of the inflation. We have 20% less. So basically we are operating, they could have said, are you, before the season, is 160 million sufficient? And they would have said no. But this is the environment we are working under. And the owners haven't done anything to put in more money, at least at what we know about. So I think this is the problem that we are working under, the conditions we are working under, and we can trust Vivell as much as we like, but when it comes to transfers, it's about hard cash.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Jarvis. And that's the point I was making earlier as well. I think the club, we had our bluff called. We're willing to spend 80 million. But we didn't think that there was anybody else out there who were either willing to spend 80 million or were going to be able to add anything else extra if West Ham asked for it. And I don't understand the point that Luani is making, right? Because what's going to happen to Liverpool next season or Chelsea, right? To be in the top 4, to do what we did last season, we need quality players. Like we can't do the whole mid-level player, you assemble a bunch of mid-tier players and think you're going to do something there. You need to show that you're a serious club. You need to show that you have ambition, right? And I feel like Tottenham have showed their ambition, basically. Now, you could say that, they ended up 17th last year, and so, they had to spend money. But so did United 2 years ago. Basically, I just I'm concerned is how I'll put it. Right, I feel like if we go and get Sanderberg and it works out, great. If we get Sangari or Manukone or any of these guys, but I look at Tonali and Fernandez and I say that's my midfield. That's the midfield I wanted. That's the no-brain. Declan Rice was not worth 100 million when we signed him. I don't care what anybody says. Neither is Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson is not worth 160 million pounds. He just isn't. But that's football. That's the inflation that we're talking about. And it's a price of admission to be a big club. And so I feel like Ineos better. Like I think I don't think they're happy, honestly. No matter how they spin it, I don't think Sir Jim or Mabarada is happy with this outcome. I think they had their bluff called, right? And I think the only way we don't end up looking foolish is if they're able to point to a kind of Chouameni signing and say, look here, all along we had this cooking in the fire. Because otherwise, we're going to end up with a Fellaini style midfielder. I can just see it happening. We're going to end up with some kind of tier 2 or tier 3, backup option instead of the main guy we wanted. Because I don't care what you tell me. And Anderson was our main desire all through the season. Last season, we're talking about how Anderson was our main target. You now had Fernandez, also a main target. You had Tonali, a main target. All gone to our rivals. What are we now left with? Some obscure French player that looks good on Football Manager. I don't know, man. I don't
know. Sean, you're talking about the price of admission. I think the price of admission depends on context. If you ask Florentino Perez right now, what's the price of admission? He'll tell you he's been throwing money at the problem for as long as we know, but he didn't win the league. In a league where you have in a 2-team league, Barcelona and essentially Real Madrid, if you don't win the league, it's considered a failure. So no matter how much of a big name you bring in, it doesn't guarantee you. We've seen that with Chelsea. When the new owners came in billion, they just bringing in talent and they just bringing in big name. But guess what? They still didn't achieve the consistency. When it comes to Tottenham, it's literally the same formula. Tottenham has been bringing in talent.
Guess what with Chelsea? Xabi Alonso has a 200 million pound midfield to work with today. If you don't change anything about Chelsea's midfield, you have Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez to work with. That's because of the investment of 2 years ago, of 3 years ago. So even if it didn't work out with the other managers, in between, now that you've gotten a good manager, you've invested in quality players. On his day, Caicedo is a quality player. On his day, so is Enzo Fernandez. Now you have a manager who might be able to get it to work with them.
Okay, let me go there, right? Let me go there. You say now the Chelsea's manager have a 200-pound midfielder to work with. This is the issue. What if next season start and he said that Caicedo is not good enough for his system? The player is only as good as the manager decides.
It's not possible.
It's only as good as the manager decide.
It's not possible. It's not possible for Xabi Alonso to tell us that Caicedo doesn't suit the system. What system is that? Please, that Caicedo doesn't suit.
It is absolutely possible. You know what? Because Xabi Alonso is there as a manager. He's not there as a coach. So he has 100% the right to decide who starts for him.
I'm not talking about what right he has. Caicedo is a good enough player. Caicedo is a good enough player to suit any system that Xabi Alonso could possibly want to play. That's what I mean by a 100 million pound midfield. If Xabi Alonso knows what is good for him, he's going to work his system around Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. That's just what's going to happen. He's going to work his system around Cole Palmer because he has a squad of quality players to work with. And that's what United needed to do. We needed to bring in quality midfielders so that in case it doesn't work with Carrick, right? I'm not stuck with one very unique midfielder that can only work under the right circumstances. No, I wanted a midfield or a squad of quality players who, come Luis Enrique, come Michael Carrick, come Nagelsmann. You look at your midfield, you say you have Matheus Fernandes, you have Tonali. That is a good midfield.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you brought out the name of Luis Enrique because we're talking about the same Luis Enrique that went to PSG and say, you know what, Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, they're not good enough for him. He will build his own team. And he resuscitated the career of Dembele, who literally is going down the drain. It's all about the mandate that the manager has.
No, but is Dembele not a 100 million, 80 million euro player? Dembele hasn't been cheap at any transfer in his life now, right? And that's precisely the point I'm making, Nwani. When you invest in £100 middle pound midfielder, right? You're investing in not one immediate outcome. You're investing in 4 or 5 years of football. Like it's not about what they deliver for us next season, immediately. If worst case scenario, Carrick can make it work, and we sack Carrick, the next midfielder that comes after Carrick is in a better shape than Carrick was because he's inheriting a better team. And I'm telling you, we needed 3 midfielders this summer. We've signed one, Ederson. Who are the other 2, and how much do you have to spend on them? If you tell me that you only have 50 million, I'm telling you, you're joking. If you tell me you only have 100 million, you're still joking. Like, if you need 2 starting midfielders in your team and you say you want to compete, look around you. Gravenberch was 80 million euros, right? McAllister was also pretty expensive. Look at Chelsea's midfield, look at City's midfield, look at Arsenal's midfield. What kind of midfield do we have? Like, how do we want to? That's the price of admission I'm talking about, Luani. How do we want to say we're a serious club if we're not willing to invest the money in serious players? I hope it works out.
But this is how we end up with the situation of Pogba and Martial and Jose Mourinho saying they're not good enough for him. They have to go, and the owners are vetoing that because they say we invested in these players and you have to get the best out of them, or either you gone.
Boys,
let's watch football
again.
We can argue for 2 years on this.
We can argue for 3 years. I think you're both right. I'm not just sitting on the fence. I'm not a person who sits on the fence. But I think a competent football structure gets the balance right. And I have zero faith. I even have zero faith in Favel because what's Favel's power? He's come out in an article. The guy who's in charge of Manchester United transfer is Wilcox. A guy whose only experience is how many months at Southampton he was a director of football. So there we go. People, listen. We're going to wrap it up here. We've gone 2 hours and 26 minutes because we've not heard from Sean lately, and it's good to see Luani. And obviously, the Don himself, Mr. Jarvis, jumped on. So big up to every one of you. Please do smash the like on the video, and let's get to 150 likes. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. The debate goes on. I just want to go to the poll. We asked how many times. Actually, Jarvis asked me this the other day. I asked how many players are Ineos and Glazers are going to sign this window. 3 players, 50% of you think that only 3 players. 4 players, 25% of you think 4 players. 5 players, 12% think they're going to go sign 5 players. 6 players, 12%, another 12% think that they're going to sign 6 players. So it's out there. We said we needed 7 to 8. We said we'll settle for 6 to 7. We said we'll settle to 5 starting lineup players. I still think the centre half, nobody's talking about the centre halves. I still think nobody's talking about the importance of the left back because I don't see Luke Shaw staying fit next season. I think Sean rightly put it out already that Mason Mount is going to be back on the bench and getting injured on right, left, and centre. Ugarte is already out for the season. Big up, love and light. There you go. Hit the like button. Jarvis, can you let the people know when you're going to be live tomorrow?
Well, I'm not even sure if I'm going live. I know it's Sunday, so it's a busy day. So maybe we will go live before the Norway game, somewhere between 7 or 8 p.m.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Coolio, that's great.
Good luck, guys. Big up. It's a pleasure to be here debating with you guys.
Always. Man like Luani. Big up to man like Luani. Listen, I just want to say quickly, so you might be able to see 7 or 8 tomorrow, Jarvis, building up to the biggest game of Norway's history. The biggest game of Norway's history, people. They've beaten Brazil before. They have given Brazil tough games before. World Cup 94, World Cup 98.
We never lost a game to Brazil in our whole footballing. We have played them 4 times, 2 draws, 2 wins.
First time for everything, Jarvis.
Yeah, obviously. I'm not going in very optimistic. I'm giving us a 30% chance to go through. So 30%
chance is a chance, Jarvis.
Yeah.
It's
still a chance, yeah.
Still a chance. When you've got a goal scorer, like you've got goal scorers in your team.
Haaland, Odegaard, Sanderberg.
By the way, I don't know if Casemiro's still a doubt. Jarvis wants Casemiro to play so they can run over him.
I want him to play. Please play Casemiro. Good old Carlos. I'm not even trolling. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I hope
Be
he
careful
plays.
what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, Jarvis.
Yeah, but he's slow. He's slow. And Brazil, they go into attack with 7 guys if Ancelotti wants so, and they defend with 2 center backs and the DM. So he will have to cover a lot of space. It's like almost Ten Hag all over again. We know that big gap, and Casemiro is supposed to defend that by himself. So again, yeah, I would rather Casemiro to play than even Fabinho or Bruno G.
Okay.
Guimaraes or Ederson.
Yeah. Listen, it is what it is, people. But listen, make sure people you follow at Sean Thomas on X. Make sure you follow Manuel Luani 1979 on X. Make sure you follow Bowley BOLE 77 Jarvis on X. Make sure you follow the channel Tactical Devils. Love and light, people. Go and check out what they've done last night. So last night, the night before, they did a show.
Yeah, Thursday night, Stu and I did a show, yeah.
Big up to Sean for jumping on. Big up and love to all of you. We'll be live maybe for the match reaction tomorrow of Norway and Brazil, reacting to that game and all the other breaking Manchester United news. But big up to everybody. Love and light.
Quick predictions for tomorrow's games.
I think it's going to be a difficult game. I think you could go to extra time. The only thing that for me the Norwegian defense is not great.
It's dodgy, yeah.
No, if you press them, you win. You give them time on the ball, they will find pockets because they have talent.
So 2-2.
Press them, you win.
1-1. 1-0.
No, I think
it could go to extra. I think it could go to extra time, and anything could happen then.
Okay, and the England-Mexico game.
I think Mexico. I think it could be a wrap. It could be good like Vienna for England.
Come on, Nurdin. So much for you. You have to be a patriot.
Patriot, my ass. You know those people going around who keep telling me I'm not British. I'm not even in England. I'm from Manchester. So I'm from Republic of Mancunia. It's a different world, baby. Different place. I'm from the Republic of Mancunia.
He's coming home.
Honestly, on Old Trafford, there's a big sign there towards the corner, the right-hand side corner of the Stretford End. It says Republic of Mancunia, mate. Republic of Mancunia. That's where I live, mate. I live places.
Right on.
Where I live. So I'm not about this, bro. Yes, do I like some of the players? Do I like Harry Kane? Yes, if England won, I won't be that upset or whatever. But let's not get it twisted, man. Let's not get it twisted. I see a media class. I see the political class that want people to get beaten up and people to be unalive because we're Muslim or we happen to be this color of skin. This is the country which I live in. This is the reality. This is the fucking reality, people.
Yeah. Cuyones.
Quickly, my predictions: Norway, Brazil, 2-2, and it goes to extra time. Norway wins on penalties. That's my prediction. And Mexico, England. Sorry, guys. 3-2 Mexico after extra time.
Yeah, that sounds like that's the score I will see too. 3-2. Because Mexico is gonna bring the intensity, man. They play each and every one of their game like that. They go at you.
But the altitude, the red blood cells, the count of red blood cells in your body when you breathe in thin air with less oxygen in it, if you are staying up there for a long time, the body develops, But when you just arrive, you feel knackered just taking a walk because you breathe air, but your body can't absorb the air because you haven't got the amount of red blood cells. It's not the same amount of oxygen in that air. So again, I feel that the British players will be knackered. They will be knackered after 45 minutes you will see them gasping for air.
Yeah. I mean, the conditions are going to be difficult. I mean,
Yeah.
England have played there, by the way. England have played there before, I think, 6 times in the past. Gary Lineker famously, I think 86, scored a hat-trick in that stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, he scored a hat-trick. So, yeah, listen, big up, love, like, game's on. I've enjoyed watching Norway. They've been a fresher breath there. They go forward, they attack. They don't sit back and defend on the edge of their area. They try to play football. So, for me, I just want the teams who play the best football to win. I want football to win. That's what I need. That's what
I will be
want.
proud anyway. So, you know, if we lose, we lose.
You've had an amazing tournament.
We have had, yeah.
Let's go.
Roo. Big up the Roo. Big up the Roo. Listen, free Palestine. We're here, Ben. I don't know if you can see that. Big up, Ben. Ben, it's all good, bro. We can see here. Free. You're now entering free Derry. We're representing, and look how they represent for Palestine. Palestine! Big up to the Egyptian coach, by the way, and the Egyptian players for keeping Palestine name alive and the people that who are going through a G-side. F the Psyos, the war machine and industrial military complex, wherever they are, and the colonizers. F the colonizers, all of the colonizers. F them wherever they are. The vultures, wherever they are. Free Sudan, free the Congo, free Lebanon, free Iran. Free everywhere where people are oppressed people. On this channel, nobody. We don't discriminate against you because of your religious beliefs, non-religious beliefs, because of your orientation, because who you choose to love, because what your ethnic background is, because of your gender. You can be they, them, whatever you want, non-binary. Everybody's welcome. And free Ireland as well. Free the 6 counties that are occupied. In Ireland. And big up and love to the people who made us feel welcome in Derry. Love to all of them. Like I said, Jarvis might be live tomorrow, 7 or 8 before the game. So make sure you check that out. Love and light. And big up to Ben. And big up to the people of Ireland. Solidarity.
Big up, Ben.
Always.
Big up, big up.
Good night, guys.
Take care.
Take care.